Okay, I don't necessarily think we need that music. That might not necessarily be appropriate for this particular thing. Right, you could just stop that now because we're more interested in this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very lovely exclusive Warhammer Total War 2 stream. My name is Totalbiscuit. I'm joined by a longtime friend, drinking buddy from esports events. I think the last time I met you, we were in a bar in Sweden?
It's either a steakhouse in Sweden, in lovely Jönköping.
Yep, Jönköping, the best and most populated place on Earth. Yeah, it's a real hotspot.
Or Telford.
Or Telford, the best and most populated hotspot.
It's got an iron bridge, mate.
Yeah, it does. It's got that. It's basically a car park that some people live in. It's Mr. Dogbert, who is a somewhat legendary esports RDS player from back in the day. What are your medallions, your accomplishments, your great triumphs?
I think it's End of Nations crushing Epic Mealtime.
Yep, yep. He was on my team when we destroyed Epic Mealtime in a promo video for a game that no longer exists, End of Nations. So we have, we've been in the wars together. We're both from Newcastle, which means, we share an unbreakable bond of way I, man.
From the tune?
From the tune, like, yeah. Both of us, through necessity, because it turns out you can't really get jobs elsewhere if you have this accent, have lost the accent.
Well, it happened because you got play with people from Europe on in esports games. They don't really understand you if you have a Geordie accent.
Yeah.
Which coming out now because I'm with you.
Yeah, it's totally right. It's absolutely 100% correct. You should, there'll be top bands, I'm going to promise. There'll be a bit of banterbury going on during this stream. Thankfully, I know a lot of you don't really like the co-streams with devs because, we don't know who this guy is. It's a bit awkward. He's a bit shy. Dogbert is none of those things and is not going to have that problem. And we have known each other for 12 years. I remember the Barcraft that we set up back in the day that we hung out.
That was great fun.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
That was like the dream times of StarCraft 2 for me.
Yeah,
I
those were
enjoyed
the
watching
times.
the
Those were the
circus
days.
system.
Yeah, those were the days. Hopefully we should be coming through loud and clear. Just please let me know if that is not the case in the chat, and we can do some quick adjustments. We did do sound checks and everything before the show, but you know how XSplit gets. It likes to just ignore what you say. So we did have a server problem earlier. I was dropping frames. We have switched out server, and it looks like we're rock solid stable now. So if there are any drops like that, you can blame Twitch. Twitch has been on the fritz the last few days. As we said, it's been a bit wankered, mate. It's been a little wankered.
A word I've not heard in a long time, but described me for most of my teen years.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. So, here's how things are going to work. There's going to be content for both YouTube and for Twitch. Twitch, you guys are getting two big exclusive quest battles. This one right here, Rod of Corruption and Destroyer. Now, the good thing about this is they just announced Skaven yesterday. We all kind of suspected it was Skaven. I mean, Ratmen, absurd. Okay, but
they'll come after you if you keep talking about them.
That's how it works. Ratmen do not exist. Nobody believes that they exist. And the nice thing about this is that these battles let us play both the Skaven on Rod of Corruption, I believe against Lizardmen.
Yeah, we haven't played this one yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've only seen a little bit of Destroyer. I haven't won it yet. These are pretty hard battles. Chances are we're going to be going in more than once to figure them out. And Destroyer lets us play Dark Elves against High Elves. And those two races, for obvious reasons, since Skaven was only announced yesterday, there's basically no gameplay of them out really at all, right?
Well, people put YouTube videos of quest battles out, but this is the first time we're going to be live streamed.
Yeah, and the Dark Elves, most people haven't seen a huge amount of them. There's been a lot of footage of the High Elves in particular. And
yeah, getting smashed. Like, we've
getting
seen
just
that
destroyed.
Promotion to just get killed. Like, every time we need a big monster showing off, we have to bring him in to get destroyed. Absolutely
wrecked. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Now, for YouTube, we recorded about an hour and a half of campaign gameplay last night. We're going to be recording about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours more of it. Campaign gameplay we currently have is for Skaven, because they have some really interesting new mechanics. And also, we got some amazing battle footage.
Yeah, but you tried to pick a fight you shouldn't have.
I did. Yeah, I did. And that was the best thing. So there's going to be some good stuff there. We're going to show you some of those early game mechanics and things. This is just a preview build, so this game isn't out for another month and a half. It's coming out, September the 28th?
28th,
28th, yeah. So just bear that in mind. There may be some issues, but we're allowed to stream this, and then we're allowed to do campaign gameplay on YouTube of this. So there'll be like an edited video of that, you know, cutting out the boring bits, showing all the good stuff, and all that kind of thing. And there will be more coverage of Warhammer 2 closer to release. Just to get this out of the way, because some people still are not didn't know about this. We did have a boycott against Sega, specifically Sega Japan, for about 4 years. This was due to a action that the Japanese studio took against videos of an old Sega Saturn game. So, you know, we had this boycott in place. We lifted it a few months ago when we did WTF's Dawn of War 3. And, frankly, people wanted to see these games. You lot wanted to see Total War. You were asking for a year for me to stream the first one and show the first one. So, you know, we're done with that. And, frankly, Creative Assembly had nothing to do with that. Dogbutt had nothing to do with that. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're all good. So, let's stream some PC games, huh?
Yeah. What did you think of Warhammer 1?
You know what? I liked it a lot. And there's some races I really enjoyed, some I didn't. I think the best time I had with it was probably with the dwarves, actually. I'm a big artillery person.
Well, you picked the right faction to play in this guy.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff.
You haven't even seen the stuff you get on Rod of Corruption yet.
Well, I'm glad to be going to get a chance to see that. And yeah, my most successful campaign was definitely Dwarf. I had an army that I'm pretty sure was 75% just guns, like artillery. It's like, can anything get close to us? And we won battle after battle until we came against an army that could get close to us, and then we were screwed. Or like I'd say, grudge throwers are amazing. I'm really surprised that they get such a powerful, effective artillery unit so early on in the game.
Do you see what they throw as well? Like, I think it's either one of the units of renown, or it's regiments of renown, or like the first one. It just throws a goblin on a rock. Yep. Which is just what you want, really.
Yeah, that's one of the early regiments of renown you got. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to play Norsca yet because that just came out. I did play a bit of Chaos, although you know, not a little bit of a slimmed down experience. So I was not quite so keen on how it was implemented, but it's worth noting, for those of you that do have the original game or are considering getting it, that they just released a big base update that, like, overhauls a lot of things in that game.
Yeah, it brings up a lot of the old world factions, obviously in time with the Norsca update, and it's obviously when we, after we launch Warhammer 2, we're going to have, you know, the mega campaign where Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 can be played together on the biggest campaign map you're going to see. It's going to be, and you know, it's going to be great to be able to play the old world factions against the new world factions.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that works out, and I think that's sort of the dream eventually, you know, when the first Total War Warhammer first came out, you're obviously going to get the people who's like, where's my favorite faction? Yeah. And you can't go in there with 12 fully fleshed out races right off the bat. No. That's just impractical. That's why we don't see any strategy game released with that many. Like, you can add them in later, but that takes a lot of development time. You've got to make sure they're balanced, and you had a few problems with that, especially with, what was it, I think you guys addressed the Empire just being kind of rubbish and as the AI in the late game. Yeah. That was addressed in the new update. Yeah, indeed. They got a bit of a kicking because we've added in a lot of factions. We've got a DLC team which worked on, you know, Norsca, you know, Wood Elves, Beastmen, and Bretonnia, obviously, which is 3OC. And these factions, you know, are incredibly unique, and I think they add a lot to the playstyle and the campaign. And, you know, a few of the old factions, you know, have been brought up to speed now. And Empire, less of the kicking boys, but they're surrounded, like, literally at the beginning. Like, so many times I started playing as Empire, and Beastmen would just turn up and wreck everything for me, so... Beastmen are a damn nightmare in that respect. I quite enjoy Empire, even though they seem like, oh, it's the boring human faction. But... So not! Yeah, but later in the game, they do get some cool stuff. The steam tank is amazing. Hellblaster volley guns, man. Demigryph Knights are like the go-to unit. Like, there's a guy called Ninja and does a lot of competitive streaming for Total Warhammer. Yeah. And he plays 1v1s a lot. And honestly, if he plays Empire, he's just going to beat you. There's nothing you can do about it. The faction is so varied and so versatile. Can pretty much win any battle. Jack of all trades, kind of. Because they're just so good. They've got so many unit choices. Yeah, that was great. I'm going to say I did try playing the Night Goblin faction, Oh, I got destroyed. It wasn't even funny. It was like, oh god, it warned you, this is really hard. Like, it can't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? I mean, Night Goblins never really stick around for a fight too long.
They do not.
And then
no.
you got the Fanatics. Possibly the coolest thing I've ever seen in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. It's just a guy with a ball and chain just going nuts.
You know that when I was younger, when I played at the good old games club in Spennymoor, that shithole, we played a very small amount of fantasy, only a couple of games. I had my because we just saw a very small skirmish level game, because I didn't have many models back then. I couldn't afford it. Of course I couldn't, because Games Workshop, frankly, sells really expensive models, and I was just a kid with £5 a week pocket money, and that was considered a lot for some people. And I managed to get 3 used Cold War Knights, like a unit of Dark Elf Warriors, 1 repeater bolt thrower, and I think a sorceress, and that was about it. And I got wrecked by some goblin player who just had a bunch of fanatics that just ruined all my stuff in seconds, and I forever hated them as a result of that. Also, I tried to play goblins in Blood Bowl. That was a mistake. They're terrible.
They're not good in that one?
Oh, they are absolutely terrible. We tried to sort of play, it's like, oh, I'll just play them as a joke. They are a joke. You can't compete with them. They're just really bad. They're almost as bad as halflings, almost.
Well, they got eaten.
True. Yeah. So you're not confirming a halfling expansion?
Oh, my idea of halflings was 40k. I forgot they were in. Oh,
it's the squats. You're talking about squats.
Yeah,
squats got eaten by the Tyranids. That's how they got retconned out of the law.
Yeah, yeah.
So no confirmation of halfling expansion for Total War, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys, can't quite get that info out of him. All right, we're not going to keep you waiting any longer. We're going to start off with this Rod of Corruption battle, show you what's going on with it. Now, if you want to ask questions of Mr. Dogbert, which he will ask in between me screaming that this isn't fair, then you can do that. The best way to do that, to highlight it on the screen, is to go at Totalbiscuit in the chat and then ask the question, because it'll highlight in red. Bear in mind, even though we run somebody chat, there's still a lot of you here, so we may not get to all the questions. And of course, we're going to be focusing on mostly showing gameplay. So if you have a question pertaining to Total War Warhammer 2, then please ask it, and Dogbert will no doubt have the answer, since he works at Creative Assembly, so he bloody well should do. Otherwise, why the hell are you here?
Good point.
Yeah, so they flew you out to my damn studio to do this. So
I'm just here for the Dr. Pepper.
I'm
Petting the dogs.
Yeah, I made ribs last night. They were all right. Yeah. Also,
so
please join me in saying to Mr. Dogbert, happy birthday. It's his birthday today.
I'm 30 years young.
30 years.
I already hate young people.
You're young. Yep. Once you pass the 30-year mark, that's it. You're in your midlife crisis time. Now is where you got to buy an airsoft collection.
Oh, well,
He's been fawning over my guns for the last day, and now
I'm surrounded by P90 behind me.
Yeah.
You know, pulse rifle from aliens. I mean, seriously, this is the place to be.
There's some good stuff.
P90s, man, that's what you need when you're fighting big monsters.
Well, according to Stargate, a P90 is the best weapon in the universe, right? It should work against everything. Well, there you go, thank you. Hundreds and hundreds of happy birthdays.
That's the most I've ever got.
Let's rock and roll. Rod of Corruption is where we're going to go.
Let's do it.
Let's hope this works correctly. Please bear in mind, as always, a disclaimer on everything that's pre-released and a month and a half out. This is a preview build and not necessarily representative of the final product. There may be bugs. There are possibly going to be problems. Please do not judge the full product on the quality of a pre-release, unreleased build. Cool. Disclaimers out the way. You guys have seen enough broken stuff on my stream anyway. So here we go, and we are going to start by playing Skaven. And
that's what
Doom Wheels, Ratog. Oh, there's a Hell Pit Abomination in it.
Too horrible to die is literally one of its traits.
Tell me what that does. What's too horrible to die?
It either has an opportunity of when it dies, it spawns a unit of Skaven, which is like an unbreakable unit, or it will gain like a load of its HP back. So it's too horrible to die. By the way, it is probably the most horrible unit ever added.
We'll zoom in and we'll show you exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
We'll show you exactly what it looks like.
I want the Hell Pit Abomination model now, simply because of what that looks like. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even play fantasy, or I guess it's like Age of Sigmar now that they're doing, but I have not seen anything like that. All right, bear in mind this is a quest battle, so it's a big scripted set-piece battle, so there may be some cutscenes. Here we go.
Such a paradise, unblemished, pure. It must be gifted the touch of pestilence. that the reptile things attack me, for this is blasphemy. Lead me to the Crimson Skull so I make it powder and restore my rod of corruption. Yes. Let us begin.
You know, I'm not comfortable about him talking about his rod of corruption. I'm sorry, that's doesn't quite work out. All right, let's pause so that we can look at exactly what we have here.
Some gorgeous units. Yeah, the thing I love about Skaven is some of their units are so ragtag.
Yep.
And they just literally look like just took farmyard equipment and gonna go for a war.
And some of it is very technologically advanced. I always like that it's a weird mix of cannon fodder with weird high-tech warp-powered units. So like these sensor bearers right here are a pretty high-tier unit. That's my understanding of it. If I hit I, that should give some information on what they can do. So they have a plague sensor, which apparently just does horrible things to people. I guess that's like a damage over time, like kind of poison thing, or
yeah. And a lot of these plague units are just going to be the kind of things you do not want to have in your line for too long. And you can see if you hover over the melee attack there, it will show you what they do.
They're contaminated
and magical damage.
And they do magical attacks.
And their weapon strength as well is, I believe it's armor piercing as well. So these guys are, you know, if they get into an infantry line, they're going to cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we've kept the game audio low deliberately, guys, because once fighting starts, there's a lot of noise, so you might not want that turned up very high. You won't be able to actually hear us. I've got some Plague Monks in there as well, which are the dual-wielding infantry.
Yeah, so also on top of that, you can see what other abilities they have at the bottom here.
Frenzy.
So that'll be the commander ability, I believe, for the army. But if above that was then also kind of the other abilities they have.
Yep. Strength in numbers, immune to psychology, they can hide in forests, scurry away, so you can use it and they'll run off very fast. Disabled if leadership is high though, so that's a thing that happens when the leadership goes low and it lets them get out of there.
Yeah.
This race, from what I've seen so far, is you're gonna lose a lot of units. There's a lot of cannon fodder, and sometimes it is better to run away your sort of higher tier stuff to fight another day, very much so. This is some of the high tier stuff. Some of the stuff we've got here is not so high tier, but bear in mind this is a big set piece battle. So your basic units, we don't really have a lot of them here. You'll be seeing that in the campaign gameplay that we show. But there are things like the Skaven slaves, who are just awful. They have no armor. They're cannon fodder. They literally have an ability called Meat Shield.
Yeah, I mean, clan rants in them as well. Literally all they say is Meat Shield. And that's all they're for. Literally to just tie other stuff down while good troops come in elsewhere.
Yep. Incidentally, we are aware that when we move the camera, the stream gets a little bit muddy. That's the problem with any game that has a lot of stuff on the screen, a stream kind of can't handle it. There's a lot of foliage and things like that. So if that bothers you, obviously the YouTube videos will look a bit clearer than that. But it's just a reality of internet video. There's thousands of units on the screen. It can't handle all of them. So yeah, that's just how it is. Anyone that's ever watched a Total War game on a stream will be aware of that. So we have Storm Vermin in here. You know, they're your well-disciplined, well-armored. They're probably like the only disciplined units, really, that Skaven have. And they wield halberds. They're stronger than you would expect. These are the guys that can actually stay in the front line. Yeah,
they hold your front line. These are the guys that are going to be your anvil in most cases. And these are my favourite-looking infantry for the Skaven. I think there's just, you know, that's what I want my troops to look like.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
That is what an anvil should look like. Armoured and with spears. Well, halberds.
And here's where things get a little bit scary. That is the Hell Pit Abomination, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at the heads on top of it. It looks like the monster out of The Thing. You know, it's kind of like twirling about and it's got the dogs and stuff like it. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen The Thing. And it's just disgusting as a unit. And look at the wheel as well.
There's a wheel, it's got a wheel right in the middle here. You see it's been implanted into its body. It's a mess. It has that too horrible to die. Either it regains some of its health when it dies, or it just keeps going, or it releases a pack of Skaven that were hiding inside it. And it has a whole bunch of other stuff. Very resistant to missiles, but you can set the thing on fire. So that's a good way of dealing with it. It's a siege attacker. It causes fear. It causes fear.
Yeah.
So there's your too horrible to die, the rat's emerge ability.
So it either gets the rat emerges when it dies, or it will get the HP regen.
Yeah, this is very much kill it before it lays eggs kind of thing.
At the end of the day, I think this, like I said, is probably the most disgusting unit we've ever added into
It really is.
game.
There's some gutter runners. Obviously, they're sort of hiding in the brush. These are really fast. They have stalk, so they can move hidden in any terrain. So if you were annoyed by sneaky goblin, like night goblin assassins and stuff, you're going to hate this. They throw nets, apparently, so you can use this to chase down like a quick unit.
I haven't actually seen that. So I know that they've got a few more abilities in this game, which are small nets.
Yeah.
So obviously there wasn't too many units that did that in Warhammer 1, but there's a few more units that do that, but they're usually like a lot smaller nets. They're not as kind of powerful as the ones that you would see for the Empire.
They only have a 15-meter range, but you know, you're getting these guys close to people since they're invisible should be pretty easy. They also have that scurry away thing and the strength in numbers concept. So, you know, if they've got more HP, they'll be good, but they'll be slower. If they've got low HP, they'll be like, run away. You know, that's not going to go well.
And they throw shrinking stars as well.
That's cool. We also have some gutter runner slingers that have poison attacks.
Yes, they have longer range over the Night Runners. Are Night Runners?
Yeah, Night Runners. We don't have them in this battle, but we had that. We've got some in the campaign gameplay.
I'm confused on that.
Yeah.
So these guys have much longer range than the guys we were just looking at, and they will do a lot better in that regard. And you know, these are the guys who are going to be like peppering either big units, things you need to take out, artillery, and you know, just softening stuff up before your infantry get in there. They're quite disposable, but they're still quite powerful.
Now these are not so disposable.
These guys.
Poison Wind Globadiers. Yeah, I love the gas mask, like sort of the weird techno fantasy punk, I guess, that Skaven use is a really cool concept to me. There's always sort of been one of my favorite races as a result of that. Needless to say, they throw giant globes of warpstone gas, which is really nasty. Usually in a battle, if we didn't have a lot of really like good high tier units, tossing this just into the middle of your own stuff is actually fine. Like clan rats, Skaven slaves, they're completely disposable. Yeah, massive strength in numbers kind of thing. So there's another unit which we don't have one in this fight right now, which is a real shame because we had a lot of fun with that last night in the campaign. But you will get to see it in the campaign video, the Warp Fire Thrower.
Oh, yeah. It's how much damage did we do to those elves of it?
We murdered them.
They got lined up to fire with their archers.
Yeah, they're lined up, and we just at one shot kill half the unit.
Yeah.
But firing it into your own clan rats is actually fine because they're all disposable. Who cares? Works pretty well. So we've seen the Hellpit Abomination. Some rat ogres over here. These are like they're a fairly early game, like kind of they're sort of tech tier 3 out of 5. So you can get these quite quick, and what really surprised me about these is they're fast. Like these could chase guys down. We used them to chase down archers, so they're almost like a monstrous cavalry unit in a way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have any cavalry. You don't have any cavalry for Skaven. So these guys really fill that role. These are kind of your anvil. These are your hammer in a lot of cases in the early game. You know, so they're a very, very powerful unit, and you know, you can just get them in there, and you need some armor piercing, you need some frenzy as well, but you also want to protect them. You don't want them to take missile fire, for example. They can take it for a bit, but not for long.
Yes, as we discovered to our cost last night.
I wasn't going to say anything.
They got turned into pincushions pretty quickly. Also, they really don't like spears, so you do not want to be anywhere near that. They are siege attackers, so they can hit walls and stuff like and gates.
Take the gates down.
Yeah. We have a piece of artillery, a plague claw catapult. That's more of a trebuchet, wouldn't you say?
Oh, no, we get into this debate.
I mean, because the trebuchet is the superior siege engine, right?
It is. It can fire a projectile.
How heavy is that projectile? Over 300? 95 kilograms over what? I'm not gonna indulge the people that think that's funny.
Hey.
Including you, we don't give you any leg room. We've got to roast the dev a little bit.
It's my birthday. I want trebuchets.
It's your birthday, and you can cry if you want to. Well, you would cry too if it happened to you. So this Plague Claw Contagion looks like it's sort of a damage over time sort of poison attack.
Yeah, you can see it on the missile damage if you hover over there. It's armor piercing, also contaminates. So it brings down leadership. Ammunition, also magical as well. So these guys are just really, really good armor piercing and anti-infantry. So pretty much everything you want. So as always, get them tied down with your horde and then just drop artillery on them.
Yep.
I mean, regeneration, like a replenishment for troops in campaign for Skaven is ridiculously high.
Very fast.
So just take casualties in battle. It doesn't matter. Like, all the other factions can't take those kind of losses. Skaven can. They're an unstoppable horde in that regard.
And we have a couple of leaders. We'll look at them in a second as to what they can do. But last but by no means least, it's the Doom Wheel. Look at this thing.
Amazing.
This is... I mean, this is a chariot on steroids with a very powerful ranged weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just literally chaotic as a unit. It just goes around. It's called, what's Zap?
Zap! It just means fully automatic warp lightning rods that automatically discharge to the front, the left, and the right. And they hit everything. They hit your dudes, they hit their dudes, they... needless to say, it causes terror. Of course it does.
It literally just does everything.
Bonus versus infantry and
kills everything.
It's tough too. This is not going to fall apart very quickly with that much HP, and it's actually got very heavy armor as well.
Yeah, it's a steam tank for the Skaven.
Yep, it's basically the Skaven steam tank. It's insane. It's a very high tier unit, quite expensive. Probably don't want to lose that. It'll be fun to play with. So the last thing to look at before we engage in battle here is we have 2 leaders, and we can sort of see what they're capable of doing. This guy looks awesome. He's got a kind of warp. He almost looks like a tech priest from 40k, but in like Skaven form. So we'll look at him first. He's a spellcaster, obviously. What spells has he got?
Oh, so he's got this Doom Rocket, which is like a cluster missile, and it's
rockets don't
brilliant.
count as spells. Let's be honest.
This isn't a spell. This is a spells are on your right. That is a.
Oh, you even have that. Oh, so it's just an ability.
Is a unit building.
So we can fire a rocket.
Hero building.
Very cool. Skaven brew. So you can drink use a potion that's going to be a very big augment. It does screw with your armor a bit by the looks of it.
Yeah, you do a crazy amount of damage though. You're immune to psychology at that point, but your armor drops to pretty much 0. I mean, very few units for Skaven, at least infantry and hero wise, are going to have more than 30 armor.
Well, he has exactly 30 armor. So I can clearly see where you're going with it. Well, yes, these abilities will blind you with science. This is the magic it can do. Once we start to get moving, we'll answer a couple of your questions that we're seeing in chat here. So don't worry, we are not ignoring you. We're just showing people what's going on here. So they've got Warp Lightning.
Yeah, Warp Lightning, really strong ability. You know, it doesn't cost very much of the Winds of Magic, so you can kind of spam it quite a bit. But it only hits a small area, but very powerful.
Yeah. Death Frenzy. So there's your buff, and I mean, that's just good. That will keep them immune to psychology, which frankly with Skaven is very useful. They are a bit cowardly.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the devs about how you would kind of approach playing these guys in kind of like multiplayer environments, because we've got free-for-all coming in Warhammer 2, which is like 4-player free-for-all. Sure. And I was how are they going to match up against the others? And they're kind of like this mix between dwarfs and orcs in a way, that you've got to be using a lot of your spells and your casting ability to try and keep your guys in the fight, and also buffs and debuffs. Yeah. So one of the obviously stuff like that will play a big part. You know, a wind attack in the last spell, that's always going to be useful, especially when you deal with loads of battles where troops are lined up like that. You can just push it straight down the side. We'll see a lot of that with Malekith in the other battle as well. And then the bottom one there,
Skitter Leap, so causes something to hide, effective when flanking, stalk, and spot only at very close ranges. So if you can apply it to an ally. Can I put that on a Rat Ogre?
Yeah, you can put that on, I believe, any unit.
I can have an invisible Rat Ogre.
I think the only thing probably not a Doom Wheel. I'm
going to try and put it on a Doom Wheel.
Please do it.
Right, and so that's kind of what he can do. Obviously, he's one of the guys that you'll be able to level up during the campaign as well. Mm-hmm. And this fella is Lord Skrolk. He has a big sensor mace right there. He's kind of a smelly dude, and he's got a very, very large book on his back, which he'll probably beat people with. And that's a lot of abilities. Okay.
This is a lot, yeah. So that's going to regen his magic reserves, obviously, because he's got so many spells.
Speller, serious.
Yeah. So he's going to be one of the other legendary lords. He's obviously, in battle, got a lot to bring. The dreaded 13th spell, that is spawns a unit of death runners, good at flanking enemies, and they'd be great over time. That's costs quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't know how good Death Runners are. I've never seen them. You can't build Death Runners in the campaign, can you?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Well, let's find out. We'll put them down and I'll see if I recognize them.
Yeah. We'll probably want to quickly go to the options and turn off that fade when we get close, because we want to show this stuff off. I think it's under maybe game settings. No.
Should be in graphics.
Graphics maybe. Under advanced. Proximity fading. There we go. So that's off. There we go. So we can get a lot closer to the dudes now, and that won't happen. There you go. So you can see the detail in the models. Right, nice. So
gorgeous models on this.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the other stuff. So Pestilent Breath, obviously, big poison breath attack. That's pretty self-explanatory. Bless with Filth. That's a nasty debuff.
Yeah, that is... And this is what I'm saying. You're going to be using stuff like this a lot, especially when you're coming up against a lot of heavily armored opponents. We've already seen how difficult it is to take down like Lizardmen with Skaven, so things like this are going to be invaluable.
Yep. That's pretty cool. Again, we do apologize for the sort of blurring when we move. This is impossible to avoid on a stream. With this many units, there's just too much detail, so that's just how it is. We'll try and be like as slow with the camera as we can so we can show you as much detail as we can. Wither, you're going to be using that probably like heavily armored units to crack that armor.
Or on heroes
on
as
a
well,
hero, yeah,
Lords.
definitely. Vermintide, not a bad little game, that, by the way. Might want to check that out. You never played that.
I've not. I didn't have a key for it, though. I got one from an event. So on my many games on Steam, I've yet to play.
Yep. And you see that spawns clan rats. Interestingly enough, something you're going to see in the campaign gameplay, there's a lot more spawning clan rats where that came from.
Yeah, Menace from Below.
Indeed.
Not evident in this battle. But
as I have now named Murder from Below, which...
Well, that was one of your more polite names for it. If I
yeah, I'm not going to mention the other name I came up for it with on stream. And Plague! Use the Plague! It's a Vortex-like spell.
Yeah, 20 mana.
That's a lot.
Winds of Magic to use. I call everything mana. It's blue. It's in the corner. Played too much Diablo.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is, in a lot of cases, when we've had this, when we're losing with the Skaven clan rats or whatever, you just want to make sure that you kill the units that are pinned down. It doesn't matter if you lose some Skaven, so just drop a massive Vortex spell on top of it.
Absolutely. And that's an overview of that Skaven army. And over there, well, we have a Lizardman army with some pretty unpleasant stuff in it. And we won't spend too much time going over this at the moment, but we're dealing with like ancient Stegodon artillery units, Saurus and Skinks, and Temple Guard.
Have a look at the Temple Guard close up. They are easily one of my favorite units. That Aztec kind of feel with dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
That obsidian kind of weapon. It's sharp, but it's more of a blunt force weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to crack his skull open. And on top of that, you've got some... who's the legendary lord in this battle? Is it Mazamundi?
Maybe. Here he is. It's Gorty, apparently.
That's good.
That's Big Toad.
He is ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, there he is. That's who we're going to be trying to kill. There's a lot of big mixes here, and you were saying that, like, the in campaign gameplay in particular, these guys kind of maybe play the most traditionally, but we encountered some very unusual stuff that happened when we fought them.
Yeah, I mean, they go into frenzy. Now, what this means is they don't attack like allies or anything. They only attack the enemy in front of them. And
start grouping some stuff up so we can get going here.
Yeah, so obviously you're here to attack this army, and they don't look too many there. It should be easy. I don't think you've got too much of a problem.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's find our sort of ranged units. So we'll put them in the sort of same group here. There we go. And sort of operate our monsters kind of separately. We've got those two a good level of artillery. We might want to, let's see, where can we redeploy? We can't redeploy, can we? It's a quest battle, so we're moving from where we are. So we might need the artillery in a little closer, but there's also that manual fire option you have, isn't there?
What's insert?
Insert, is it?
It won't be easy, but you can definitely do it, and it gives you a bit of chance to kind of like keep it in the same place over and over again.
Yeah. How do you move that again?
Well, the game's
it's paused. Okay, never mind.
But when you can, you'll be able to just fire it, and obviously you got like cannons and stuff like that. They all fire slightly differently.
Yep. We want It's like, do we send our Abomination right down the middle, or do we try and flank with him? It's hard to say.
I think if we send in Group 2, supported by the Hell Pit and Doomwheel and the Rat Ogres, should be okay. And then you've got your Vermin, Storm Vermin for anything big surprises. Not saying there's any big surprises in this
It's a quest battle, of course there wouldn't be. Why would there be?
And then I would kind of focus on that. But you always want to have your reserves in this, and you always want to be able to have your lords close by, your heroes and your legendary lord to put down some abilities when you need to.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I move my artillery forward just a little bit, because maybe they're not in range, or do you want to...
I would always just tell them to pick a unit in that battle right now where you want to hit. tell them to hit it now, and then they'll just keep doing it. Now, the one I would target would be the Temple Guard, because the Temple Guard are ridiculously powerful.
There we go.
And the infantry, and the artillery piece itself is anti-infantry.
Yeah. The Gutter Runners, you know, if this is going to be our sort of stealth assassination unit, then we'll probably want to sort of send them around the side. Just keep them out of the way so they're not detected. And, you know, this is the core of our army right here. This group of Storm Vermin with 2 Legendary Lords. There we go. All right, I think we sort of have a good way to start. Like you said, we can hold back these units for a bit, pepper them with some range and magic, and then see what happens.
Indeed. Let's see how this one goes.
Here we go.
Are you confident?
Not in the slightest. not in the slightest. Not for this. No way.
After your last battle with Lizard Man.
I've run into some Lizard Men before. There's some mess that goes on with that. I tell you that for a fact. So
you want to see the Hell Pit Abomination moving around? It's absolutely disgusting.
I'll have a quick look at that. Yep. That's that.
It just moves in such
and the reinforcements are already coming in from the right flank. Okay. Alright, so we immediately probably want to move to handle that. Let's get our core units over this. I'm actually tempted to just like fire directly with the artillery now. Oh god, it's cold ones and all sorts of other things. Alright, our Rat Ogres are actually right over there, and I think there's far too many units for the Rat Ogres to handle.
You might want to have a look at what's coming at those Rat Ogres.
Let's have a quick look. Oh dear. It's a dinosaur. Run!
Carnosaur.
Alright, maybe turn the Hell Pit Abomination round on them.
Yeah, your Storm Vermin will do great things against them, because obviously they're anti-large.
Yeah.
And also,
they're not sort of moving. I'm going to engage these guys first.
These guys here are good against large as well.
Yep. Let's target the Carnosaur with everything we have. Move the Doom Wheel in. Our Hell Pit Abomination is up against the Feral Cold ones right now.
I think they'll do okay.
Get the Doom Wheel in. Alright. I'm going to get a few shots in, I think. The Rat Ogres are not doing... They have already broken.
Yeah, they're getting surrounded slightly.
I think it's spell time. Alright, what have we got? So maybe Pestilent Breath.
Yeah, Pestilent Breath. Nice and easy. Not too powerful.
Yeah, so we're going to sort of hit that. There we go. And where's our other dude? He's got some good stuff going on with him too. Maybe
Warp Lightning. Warp Lightning is always a solid choice. It's difficult to land sometimes, but...
Just lead... I think we're going to miss a little bit.
Just miss.
Doom Wheel is probably where it shouldn't be. Yep, that missed completely. They've ignored the Hell Pit Abomination now.
That's because it's killing everything.
Yep, so we're going to swing them around and get the Storm Vermin in on this to make sure nothing too bad happens. And we have our sort of range units that we can pepper them with. The Storm Vermin are going to go right into the cold ones. That should do the job quite easily.
Right after your range units for that, but they have been poisoned, so they're not moving as quick.
Yep, so I'm hoping they'll catch up. It's like, please catch up. Maybe hit them with the Globadiers.
Yeah, the Globadiers are really good against large units, so the Feral Carnosaur is a good target for them.
Yep, so I'm moving those up. We did, I think, yeah, we deliberately moved our Gutter Runners up here around the side, and we'll continue the flank right now. The Rat Ogres will come back momentarily, I think. And there we go, we're right in on him.
We've got one of the Legendary Lords fighting in there. So
okay, we might want to handle. Yep, we might want to handle him. So maybe use one of ours to engage that. Looks like a unit of Storm Vermin have just engaged him. Let's.
Yeah, those guys will clear him up quite quickly.
Yeah, see, maybe we can crack his armor. Where's that armor piercing attack? Or we could just put Death Frenzy on our Storm Vermin.
I think that's a great idea.
Yep, there we go. That should help a little bit. Yeah, this is they've broken completely. Maybe want to go help the Feral Cold ones out a little bit. The Storm Vermin will do a great job of that. They're already broken. We can maybe use our range units to chase them off and kill them. So the Doom Wheel maybe needs to get out of there.
So you can see when the unit card is flashing like that for the Lizardmen, that's when they've gone into frenzy.
Yes, that's the frenzy, isn't it? That's something...
Oh, they're killing that Doom Wheel.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. It's stuck.
You need to get some units in there. Get some spears, just throw them in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that Doom Wheel's so close to dying.
We're gonna die. It's gonna die. We're gonna lose the Doom Wheel. No. It's got eaten by a dinosaur. It's disaster. Get out of there.
Go.
Get out of it. It's getting away. It's getting away. Do we have anything that can heal it?
I don't think so.
Can I make it invisible?
You can try.
Where's the invisibility? This? Skitterleap.
Yeah.
Make the Doom Wheel invisible.
Oh my god, you can. It's right in front of the enemies. I don't know.
Go away! It's invisible, but it's right in the middle.
It's invisible!
It's invisible! It's gone! It's getting away! All right.
It went through your troops on the way out as well.
Yeah, well,
it's invisibly crushing your men.
Yep, Stormvermin should be fine with this. This is getting, so the Hell Pit Abomination's beating that up, and we have a Lord in there as well now to deal with that.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see an animation where the Hell Pit will just go ham.
Oh, looks like we've got action. All right, let's get in there. We got main Unit 2, pretty strong units, and oh, of course, because I sent them around there to go after the Mage Priest.
Now you're playing like a Skaven already.
Indeed. Now you're thinking with Ratmen. Now you're thinking with Warpstone. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right, while we're killing stuff, let's have a few quick fire questions from the chat. Use @Totalbiscuit to do that, and Dogbot Lancer a few of them while we continue to engage here. Obviously, we're running most of this in slow motion, so you can see most of what's happening, because we don't want to rush this. There we go.
So you can see the fight between the Feral Con. Oh my god!
Oh, he slammed it into the ground. You were telling me that the Monster vs. Monster now has a bunch of special animations, right?
Yeah, and this is one of them. So you will see that either when they're being killed or when they're just fighting. So that's definitely one of them there. And you will see it with dragons and so on. So yeah, it's just to the spectacle of watching two massive monsters fight each other. You want to see that, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, why would you not want to see really awesome kill animations and stuff like that? Cold Cavalry is completely broken. They're going to get smashed on the way out by the looks of it. We can redirect our Storm Vermin into the main fight, because God knows a lot of that, and we're going to throw a lot of poison at these fellows. And of course, we're firing right into the middle of our own stuff, because that's fine. I'm going to retarget into the main sort of big group of them. It looks like the Globadier's got... Oh, somehow the Globadier's got right into a fight. That's probably not good. Okay, quick fire questions. What you got?
Give it a go. So, what makes... will there be only 4 factions at launch? Yes, there will be. What was the other one? We are not... there will be no real changes to sieges in Warhammer 2. What's the best part of the game? Battles or management? I think for me, I love the campaign, and the battles mean even more when they're tied to the campaign. So I think that's for me. You can't have one without the other. Are there any more unique battle animations for different factions than in the first game? I think you'll see some for any of the different models that are kind of in the game. Obviously, they have to have something usually different, especially when it's things like Hell Pit Abominations going ham. Combined campaign, we'll have more information on the mega campaign, when we get close to putting that out. How's the UI feel? Is there enough information about everything you need? Is there something missing? I think that's more of a one for you from what you're saying.
From my experience, the UI is similar, but they've cleaned up a lot of stuff. They've done a lot of really nice notifications. Like, for instance, in the campaign, you know how if you had a bunch of different factions you were playing against, and like, it would take a while to go through the turns. You can now, on a faction-by-faction basis, turn off a lot of notifications and showing stuff. So let's say you're, like, at war with a faction, but you don't really care about the other guys that are halfway across the world. Well, now you can set it so you can only focus on 1 or 2 factions, and it will tell you everything you can get about those, but for the rest of them, it just kind of skips them over. So that's handy, and they've just got a little bit better about delivering information, I feel. So it's a good incremental improvement on something that, in my opinion, was a bit messy, but it was not bad in the first place. It's just a lot better now. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, a lot tidy up on the UI. A lot of work's been done on that to try and make everything a lot clearer. Plus, a more inclusive tutorial. So if you haven't played Total War before, this is a great time to join in, because the tutorial was probably the best we've ever had.
That is beautifully textured. Holy crap.
See, this is the one thing I love about playing as a Lizardman. It's just so many of their units are just absolutely gorgeous. There's something about the Feral Castles, and obviously you get so many different types of monsters for the Lizardmen, as you would expect. Mm-hmm. And yeah, every time you put them into battle, it's just a spectacle.
Alright, these guys are going in. We're getting our dual wield guys. Our sensor bearers are in combat. While we're basically like murdering skinks with these guys at the moment, which seems to be working pretty well.
Oh, use on your Lord there. Oh, you fired the missile.
I fired it. Yeah, I showed them. Don't worry. We fired some missiles, and it worked really quite nicely, actually.
I like the cluster missiles so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Skaven Brew probably on him actually to make him do a lot more damage. The Lord's currently doing pretty well over there, and that means we can actually charge the Storm Vermin right into the back. And the Hell Pit Abomination sort of not doing much at the minute. So, we're going to hit the Croxagores with the poison on the way out. and then charge with the Hell Pit Abomination. There we go. Okay, let's have a couple more quick fire questions. What we got?
What are the unique mechanics, if any, for the Skaven on the campaign map? So, first of all, they kind of have their settlements, and when they're leveled up, will be invisible to other factions unless they have a hero or a lord that comes up close.
So you literally have no idea where their cities are initially.
Yeah. So they look like ruins, which is you will see on a lot of the map in Warhammer 2, which is basically where you can go treasure hunting.
Oh my god!
Is that warp lightning?
We just warp lightning the whole lot, yeah.
And you've just set them off now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're out of control.
Dealing with lizard men is weird because you think you hit them really hard, but the harder you hit them, the more crazy they go. So it's actually way harder than it looks.
You got your net down there on them?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's
ain't going anywhere?
Yeah, they're locked down. I wish we could hit... Wait, where's the Hell Pit one? I'm thinking about hitting them from the back with it, but...
Let's just get the Hell Pit into a fight.
He already is.
What is he fighting?
Croxagors.
Oh, that's probably like the worst thing to fight.
Maybe. I'm going to bring the Storm Vermin into support.
Yeah, let's get some help.
Yeah,
but then again, if he dies, he's too horrible to die, so God knows what he'd end up looking like anyway.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, couple more quick fire questions from the chat. What we got?
I'm waiting to see some more, but if they fire up. Are Rattling guns sorted? I'm not sure. I don't believe they're in the roster right now.
All right, they're breaking. That's good. That means our catapult's actually up and running again. I think it actually might be out of ammo. Oh no, they abandoned it. Okay, let's recrew it. There we go. That's good. They're going to keep running. We can hit those guys in the back.
Are other races plans for future DLC? Can you tease us a bit? No, I wouldn't want to tease you. It'd be terrible. I mean, you know, I'm sure we'll have other factions in the future. God knows who they'll be. I mean, look at the world we have. I mean, where could it even be? What else have we got there?
So you got some, drop some clan rats just right in their leader, lock them down a bit. There we go.
Someone asked about Dogs of War. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of who knows, let's be honest, like...
That's always going to be...
You're not going to get a DLC race announcement on this stream out of nowhere, let's be frank.
So, how is the AI in this? I mean, we're playing a quest battle at the moment. Obviously...
Yeah, it's kind of normal difficulty, I think.
I think it would be. I'm trying to work out if this is an easy one or not. I
mean, I'm doing alright. I think I'm going to win.
You're doing very well. I think it's we're focused more on the campaign, and I think it's definitely a lot more of a challenge than in the previous games. But I'll leave that to you guys when you get a chance to play it.
Fire! I'm a terrible shot. Turns out
that did not hit.
It did not. Maybe
that did not hit anything.
No, it did not. It was a warning shot. That's what it was. It's a warning shot.
A shot across their bow.
Shot across the bow. Arr! Yes. No confirmation of pirates of any sort. Play clicker.
So
this'll work.
Oh, you actually gonna hit something?
Nope.
No, not that quite.
Not quite. Down a bit. Down a bit. Down a bit. Down a bit.
That was still closer to your own.
We got one. We got one.
Yeah, getting there.
They're all breaking now, anyway. You got that guy right there. We hit him.
He's staying down. He's staying down.
He's dead.
Using this trebuchet to great effect.
God, I'm rubbish at this.
You got your own guys there.
They deserved it.
2 guys in the corner.
They deserved it.
You're very good at hitting the ground. That's one of the questions just came in.
That's not a question. Yeah. There we go. We didn't get to use the vortex. We'll have to maybe try that again just so we do. There we go. Get him on the way out. You bastards. That's the Liber Barbonicus, I believe, is on his back right there.
He's just chasing after them.
Yep.
Wants some dinner. That's the one of the campaign features for mechanics for the Skaven is food. Obviously constantly eating, constantly needing with a high metabolism. And they need to just constantly be eating away at food. So that will affect how you approach your campaign. You kind of always want to be on the offensive and spreading out, never staying in one place too long. Money might not be the biggest issue, but food is always going to be your problem, especially if you go negative. The negatives you get that on your campaign and in battle is significant. And
you are not getting away as quickly as that, mate. I'm not having it. I'm gonna summon... Well, actually, I'm not probably on range to do it.
Oh, just send your Doom Wheel. Oh, wait.
Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, it's invisible. I can't even see it in your army.
You can't see me, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's John Cena of the
Yeah,
Skaven
it's a crossover with Cena. It's John Sensor Bearer. Oh, dear.
How easy do you think it would be to get for someone to get into it who has no experience of Warhammer Fantasy? You know, I had like no experience of Warhammer Fantasy really until I started working at Crate Assembly and started working on Total Warhammer. But you know, it's really, really cool. I mean, if you've played any Total War game before, obviously that's a help as a jumping off point. But this is probably the most accessible Total War game we've ever put out. And Warhammer 2 is refined in a lot of ways on that, and a better tutorial, so you guys will be able to learn a lot of the mechanics a lot quicker. So I would say it's the best time, really. If you've never played Total War and you've never played Total War Fantasy game, this is the time to do it.
I want to blow up our guy.
You're going to try and blow up the Hell Pit Abomination?
That was the plan.
He's not happy about it.
He didn't seem too bothered about it, actually.
He's probably not aware.
I'm ending his torment.
He's got a lot of HP.
Kill me. This would take a while.
I think it would. Well, how much time we got? I'm sure we could keep doing it.
Probably could. We're about an hour in, you know, which actually is kind of what was planned, really. Yeah, because we have another battle to show you.
Me too.
People asking, can you show us the Dark Elves? Yes, we can.
You're looking forward to the Dark Elves. That's the first thing you asked me when I...
Yeah, because there was the, you know, I only collected fantasy for a very brief period of time when I was younger, and Dark Elves were the ones I got.
Yeah.
And they have really cool lore. They're a bunch of bastards. Like, literally the most evil race in the fantasy world. Like, you wouldn't think, oh, Dark Elves. That's not very intimidating, you know, as, you know, Thor the Dark World kind of made out to be. No, the Dark Elves in Warhammer Fantasy, they are cruel beyond cruel. Like, they do stuff just because it's fun. Like, masochistically, evilly fun. They murder their own people. They enslave races all over the Warhammer Fantasy world. And then torture them and murder them and bathe in their blood in giant cauldrons to stay youthful.
Yeah, I mean, what you're going to see for Dark Elves, one of the campaign mechanics is slavery. That's our economy. It runs on that. If you have too many slaves, it'll start causing public order, but that's where your money's coming from. And you can sacrifice them to get some amazing things like a Black Ark, for example, which is a floating city.
Yep.
Which you'll be able to use bombardment as well for your battles. So you'll be able to bring it up the coast, and you'll be able to, you know, call down spells and all this bombardment in your battles.
So this is the first time bombardment's been done in Warhammer Total War. It was done in Shogun 2 for the Samurai, I believe.
Indeed.
Yep.
Back in the day.
So that's a mechanic that's being used. For those of you who wanted a little bit more naval in Warhammer Total War, which obviously doesn't really have naval, and it doesn't sort of do it this time. So it does have bombardment now.
Yeah, so that's going to affect in your quest battles as well. You can try and attack a Black Ark, but you're going to suffer, and it has a massive garrison from what I've been told. So they are, you know, it's pretty much a floating city, so you can just move around the map on the coastal side, and just, you know, not many times you really have that. So you'll move your cities about and just do so much damage. And obviously in battles, you know, the Dark Elves themselves are dangerous because they got the murderous prowess. So when they start doing a lot of battle, a lot of damage and get lots of kills in battle, they go over their murderous prowess bar, and then they just do so much more damage.
Yep.
So you're going to see that in the battle with the High Elves, and 8 kills for that Doom Wheel.
It survived. It went invisible and it left to fight another day.
Yeah, it's gone to the prequel universe. It's going to run down, you know, Obi-Wan.
It's going to participate in the pod race against Sebulba.
I saw so many comments like that on Reddit. As soon as I saw the Doom Wheel, it's just non-stop prequel jokes.
Yeah, so Skaven, Lizards, Dark Elves, and High Elves are the 4 races.
Indeed, all of which will have 2 legendary lords. If you play co-op campaign, you'll be able to play as the same faction with the 2 different legendary lords and starting positions that they have. So, you know, another great way to play the game is playing co-op. I actually prefer head-to-head. I think it's I enjoy beating a real player. I think there's an extra just enjoyment in doing that, and that's why in a head-to-head campaign, you can take over the AI as well. So imagine a battle you had against AI, and then imagine having that controlled by a human player.
Yeah.
A lot harder all of a sudden.
Indeed. Look at this after-action report. We see, like, what their dangerous stuff was. I mean, that ancient Stegodon got in the middle of us and did some serious damage. It combines both a giant dinosaur that could charge in and ruin your day with a ton of poisonous archers on the top of it that can fire in all directions. So, it's a bit you know, it's a bit dangerous. It did a lot of damage. Their Lord was rubbish this time around. Look at him.
He's more of a spellcaster, so he's a lot more of a support caster as well. So it's less likely to see damage of him, more of a support for the rest of the troops. And then when we had that campaign battle, that was his thing. It wasn't as such he was doing but damage, it was the fact that he was buffing his troops to stay in the fight so much longer.
Which is probably why these Saurus did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think the Temple Guard did pretty well, although we did bombard the hell out of them with catapult, which probably helped.
Their leadership would have been quite low from all the poison that you know, this faction brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, like, in this quest battle, certainly, like, you know, had a superior army to them, I think. Like, compared to what we have in the campaign, which is rubbish, as you will find out in the YouTube videos, this is, like, some of the strongest stuff Skaven has.
And, yeah, just one of the questions, will mod support continue? We still plan to support the mod community. We, been doing a lot of stuff with those guys. Usually get them the build. It's kind of the same time as we do with the YouTubers, so they can usually prepare their mods for that. It's
good to hear. Total War has a pretty long history of modding.
We've got some of possibly the best mods ever, I would say. Like some of the ones for Medieval 2 obviously stand out.
Yeah, I think Medieval 2 in particular has a lot of really good stuff. Rome had it as well.
Yeah, I played the hell out of a load of mods for Rome 1, sorry, and I usually would go back to vanilla sometimes, but I'd always go for the mods in Rome 1.
So let's address a couple more questions before we go to the Destroyer, which will allow us to show you a big Dark Elf army. So Godhammer asks, has the use of and actions by agents on the campaign been improved or changed at all?
Obviously, every faction has kind of unique, you know, abilities with their agents. Obviously, heroes now can garrison settlements, which they haven't been able to do before. So they'll be able to use them to garrison settlements, especially useful when you have to, you know, quickly raise an army to defend the settlement. I don't know, if something big and nasty is coming, and that'll be very useful. How are they improved? They have a lot more of unique abilities when it comes to their effects on the campaign map. There's one in particular for Skaven I quite like it.
It's the Earthquake
walls.
one, yeah?
Yeah, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, and definitely on that. And what was it?
Let's see what else we have here. I'm just going to scroll back a little bit on this list here.
Obviously, Warhammer 2 is part of a trilogy. We've done 1 and 2, and will be a third. And these are all going to be, you know, their own games. So they're not just like, you know, glorified expansions. These are their own games.
Yeah, I mean the way that I've sort of looked at it is like it looks like an expansion but also a sequel because it's very much standalone and obviously improved with a completely different map which has a completely different objective and different races, but you're allowing people to combine it with the first one to create this combined campaign.
Yeah, it's something we've never done before. I mean,
it's kind of a bit of both.
I mean, the amount of features and the amount of race and the content that's going into Warhammer 2, it's absolutely huge. You've got 4 completely unique factions, all completely play different. 2 legendary lords with 2 different start locations. Along with this, we've got the whole narrative campaign of the Vortex, which something we'll go into a lot more in the campaign, which is, you know, late game for Total War is kind of if you play a lot of Total War, it's something maybe you don't always go to the end. And
no, I never do. I'll be honest.
And loads of people don't because
it's not the fun bit. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like you mentioned this yesterday, and I agree with it totally. Is like a big fault of Total War in general up to this point has been, if you're winning, you get to the point where you know you've won at that point, so what's the point in finishing out the game, basically?
Yeah, but what you're going to get in this is with the Vortex campaign and everything going on with Influence of Vortex, with rituals and so forth, you're going to have this competition with the other races to try and race to get control of that Vortex and all the tasks and tribulations that come along with that, and you're always going to be in competition right up until the end.
Yep.
And you can lose. The AI
can
beat you.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that doesn't happen. Even if you have a massive army, you can now lose and the AI will beat you there. If you can play sandbox and still go the traditional way of just destroying every faction on the map, but that map is huge, and it's better to play down the Vortex campaign and the narrative there, and it brings a lot of unique challenges to Total War, which, you know, a lot of people have never seen, never had to take on before.
Yeah, it does make sense because I am one of those people that never finishes the damn campaign because I lose the motivation. You know, I like building up a thing and feeling like I'm under threat, and at the late game, if I'm dominant, I don't feel that, so I just and just stop and start again.
It's when everything's on a knife edge is when you're most enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I think with the narrative campaign of the Vortex, you're going to be getting that pretty much all the way to the end. And you always got these chances that can all just flip on one major battle, and that is the core of what makes a Total War game great.
Yeah. So, a couple more questions. Do you know anything about the DLC plans for Total War 2? Like, are you planning on releasing a combination of premium DLC and free DLC in the same way that you've done for Total War 1? Obviously not naming what those things actually will be, but...
Yeah, we'll be definitely doing some free DLC again. We feel our strategy for releasing content for factions has gone down very well. One of the things that we're looking to do in the future is maybe not to do... the miniature campaigns and just focus on fully fleshing out factions, giving them as many legendary lords and units as possible. So you'll be seeing that in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to say what. Naturally. Because then I don't have a job.
Yep.
So I'm not going to do that today. So no leaking here. That's just Darren and Michael. So that was colleagues who've accidentally leaked on stream. Who would do such a
shots fired, apparently. I don't even know who these people are. I'm just going to assume.
It's all right. I'll point them out on Twitter. A hit list. No, it's great, guys. And how will the Vortex campaign work with 1 and 2? Vortex campaign is literally for Warhammer 2. It will not be involved in the Vortex, in the Mega campaign.
Yeah, so if you want to play that, the Vortex mechanic is not there. It's only on the Total War 2 specific map. Yeah, and that's a narrative that works for those factions. Also, if you play Free For All, which we haven't really talked as much about, that'll be, if you own Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, you'll be able to play as dwarfs against lizardmen or dwarfs against Skaven or any of those factions in Free For All, and that's where I'm seriously looking forward to that, because first of all, I love a bit of multiplayer action, and Free For All is absolute chaos. Like, literally organized chaos. And it brings some of the best things, and more of the fantasy matchups you always want to see. What would happen if this faction, this faction, this faction all went at battle and see who would win? And I'm just going to say it for me. I think it's the Lizardmen because, we didn't see it too much on the last battle because you crushed it too quick. But Carnosaurs, I know, the Carnosaurs and the Column Riders, all these guys, they do so much damage, and you can just do so much hit and run, and they all cause fear. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the free for all stuff in the future. That's an interesting specific question. Will you be able to play the combined map with someone who only has the first game?
I do not believe so. I think you will need Warhammer 2.
Yeah. Will we be able to play the campaign on the Total War 2 map without the Vortex mechanics?
We'll be able to play a campaign without the Vortex.
Yeah, using the Total War 2 map, but with the Vortex turned off and just doing like a standard
the Vortex is, that is Warhammer 2's campaign. Now, like I said, you can still play it like a sandbox, and you can ignore the Vortex and play it traditional and just try and conquer all the settlements and stuff like that. I mean, you can play like that. We're not stopping you from doing that. It's much more beneficial to play the narrative, and it isn't something that's like literally forcing you. You can choose to do it. It gives you so many bonuses and challenges to do it, and obviously you're playing in a wider race with the other factions. And I've been playing it, and it gives me that sense of enjoyment when you're kind of uncovering new territory and new challenges that you haven't really had before. And as a season, I've been playing Total War since Shogun 1. And to get that is, you get excited about it. So I think if I'm excited about it, you guys are going to love it.
Well, we'll see if that ends up being the case when it comes out. Let's move on to the second battle. I don't want to keep you guys waiting too much. Obviously, we will keep doing some Q&A during this, but we'll be more focused on the battle. So that was just a brief opportunity for you to do this. This time around, we actually have 2 Dark Elf armies.
Indeed.
This is a very big battle.
Yeah, so as you can see on the kind of like little dialogue there, he's just going to throw away this kind of weaker Dark Elf army, and then he's going to bring in his more elite troops.
He's a bit of a dick, yeah.
Well, it's kind of his style, I mean, to be blunt. But he is probably one of the most powerful legendary lords in the game, and he is going to be on a mount in this battle as well.
A mount, quote unquote. Let's see what we have.
Herds of Acer clog the path to Vor's petty shrine. Sweep them aside, my king. Let the king approach the god and have the god kneel. Send forth the vanguard. Have them prepare my way. Vor will deign to bless my sword. He will marvel at my creation. Or I will destroy all of his.
All right, I'm going to pause and we'll have a look at kind of what we have here, because as we said, we're sort of running with two armies. The ones at the front, these guys we can't actually control. They are a literal cannon fodder army. They're being sent forward by Malekith to die to soften up the High Elves so I can then come and murder them. And there are various units here, just the standard spear guys, missile with repeating crossbows, which are very cool. I do like the repeating crossbows, one of my favorite aspects of it. They're setting in a kind of crappy Dreadlord who obviously has pissed Malekith off to some extent because he's going to die horribly. You know, these are basic tier 1 troops being sent in against that, which is a pretty strong High Elf army led by Tyrion, who's going to mess you up. You have Eagle Claw bolt throwers at the start, which have already started firing, so that's a little bit messy. We're getting nice and close to the ground here to have a look at what they've got. They've got some large ranks of spearmen. They have Silverhelm Knights, quite a lot of them at the back. And they also have a High Mage by the looks of it, so that could be a bit messy. And they have Dragon Princes. Yeah, these are nasty big cavalry. So these are very high quality troops. They've got a bunch of archers. Phoenix Guard, who are tough as nails. Halberdiers, as you can see. So this army at the front is going to get slaughtered. Dogbot will be back in a second, by the way. Call of nature. White Lions of Trace. These are the big two-handed axe guys that just horribly murder people. And hello, welcome back.
I got lost in your house.
It's not that big. Look at them. They've got the Lion Cloak, which is protection against regular and missile attacks. They're Forest Riders. High Elves in general are pretty good at fighting in forests, right?
Yeah, they're just all-round kind of a very well-rounded faction. And what they lack in numbers, they definitely make up for in quality.
Yeah.
Oh, on me. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that with the High Elves. Obviously, they're very, very good when it comes to range. But they do have a very good mix of monsters as well. I'm not sure how many of them you can see in this battle. And their cavalry is also great.
Yeah. Right now on the field, they don't have many, but that doesn't mean they're not going to pop up during the fight. Obviously, we explained that this army is basic stuff that's going to get horribly murdered. They have a decent amount of missiles. The shot cavalry are at the back.
And the artillery in the center there. This is probably before I even knew very much about Warhammer. This is one of the units I just thought looks really, really cool. I remember seeing it in like Newcastle Games Workshop store 15 years ago, and I was just like, that just looks cool. And then seeing it in the game as well, it just is absolutely amazing. In fact, one of my brand director, he got a load of High Elves and Dark Elves, and they're really well painted, and he's got one of those units there as well. So I've been seeing it in the office for ages now, and seeing it in the game finally is brilliant.
Yeah, there's your silver helms there, so we need to watch out for that. Like they have a lot of cavalry.
Yeah, and they're very painful. Obviously, armored anti-infantry. You know, they're going to be very shot cav. They're going to hurt with that hammer and anvil tactics.
Yep, that is very true. So yes, these are going to get wrecked. We don't actually have control of the army at the front, I believe.
Allies, yeah. So
they're just going to go and get murdered. So let's have a look at the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Starting, I think, with... So you said he had a mount.
Just a mount, yeah. Just that, you know.
Yeah.
It's massive. Like, it's the biggest dragon I think I've seen. I mean, the High Elves and Dark Elves have these gigantic monsters. And Malekith, obviously, he's a big spellcaster and crazy in power in battle. And you also have Dragon Breath there as one of your unit abilities, which means from Noxious Breath, which is breath attack, so you can do that from up above. So all dragons now have this ability to do some damage from above, where previously it was only when they came down to attack.
Yeah, which kind of defeated the point of the exercise, really, didn't it? So
well, they're lethal now, and with Malekith on top, even more so. He is easily one of the most powerful lords in the game. Legendary lords.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to mess some stuff up. Very powerful spellcaster. Lots of really nasty stuff.
Like
Blade Wind. We saw. I played around a little bit with this earlier, and it just murders people. It's
the wind attack on the right.
On the right, this one.
That one, Chill Wind, is really, really good. Quite cheap, 6 in spell, and it just does a lot. And it, once again, straight down that line, so you can hit loads and loads of troops.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, he can mess people up, obviously.
And he can do it in combat as well. So, like saying, even though he's got all these really powerful spells, he's so powerful in combat as well.
Yep. All right. Let's
Very well-rounded.
Let's have a look at some of the good old Black Art Corsairs. These are the guys that often raided the coasts of the Warhammer world. They were really powerful, really nasty pirates. And the big thing that they had in the tabletop game, which they have here, is the Sea Dragon Cloak, which, like, they don't have shields, but the Sea Dragon Cloak, which is made of the scales of sea dragons, it's very lightweight, very resistant stuff. So their armor is surprisingly high for a unit that is not shielded.
Yeah. And the infantry, dual sword infantry, they're going to do a lot of damage in combat. And, these are kind of go-to in that kind of cutting through. But they're going to make up a bit of your front line in this battle.
Yep. So we have a good 4 units of those. Blackguard and Agaron. So these are the very tough, halberd, shielded, armored units. 115 armor.
They just look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of units I like. I don't know what it is about the big spears at the moment. It seems to be the way it goes. Anti-large, armor-piercing, armored themselves, charge defense against large foes. So that's going to be very useful. And murderous prowess, obviously.
This bar right here. You see this bar here? The more kills you get, you need to get enough kills to trigger murderous prowess. So if you murder stuff, especially try and focus on cannon fodder units so you can kill them. Yeah. That's what happens when murderous prowess triggers. It is a massive buff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it will just, when this happens, especially in games like Free For All and obviously in your campaigns, and if you're playing against them, you're going to have to be very cautious on what you're doing. You're playing as Skaven, you're just throwing away your meat shield troops. Mm-hmm. You're just giving them more and more of a chance to hit this.
Don't do that against Dark Elves. That's a bad idea.
Yeah. And like I said, they have small numbers, but they have that quality. And
they were always about that. They're always costly in quality, those guys.
Yeah.
So people asking about the Executioners, they're here. Hargonath Executioners.
Beautiful swords.
Two-handed great swords. They have Murderous Mastery, which is
that's a unit ability.
Yeah, it looks like it's very similar to the
causes fear though.
Yeah.
Which is
it lasts longer too. So the duration's 120. So. And it's disabled if the unit has not exceeded the murderous intent. So this is a buffed up version of murderous prowess, sorry.
Yeah.
And obviously if the leadership's broken, it doesn't. So these guys are even better at using that. They're extremely dangerous, anti-infantry, armor-piercing, and armored. They're as tough as the Blackguard and Agaron in terms of armor.
Yeah, but they're two-handed, they're great sword infantry, so they're going to be...
They're not going to do great against cavalry.
No, they're killing infantry. That is their forte.
Yep. All right, so let's look at those. One of the more famous units, Witch Elves.
Yeah, they got squashed in our trailer by a console, but they're here in the battle.
No big surprise. Look at their armor.
Who needs armor?
Look, we don't do the whole RPG trope of bikinis giving a lot of armor. No, they don't. They don't give a lot of armor. If they're going to dress like that, they're going to suffer the consequences of not having any armor, obviously. But they're very quick and they have dodge. So rather than taking hits... Dodge is, where is it? I think that's the dodge, isn't it? The physical resistance 20%?
I believe so.
Possibly. So there's a number of units that have this. I saw some of the Skaven have it too. So they will be able to, regardless of not having a lot of armor, actually evade quite a lot. They're relatively fast. They have the Madness of Cain, which is that big bloodlust thing.
Yeah, so if they go on a rampage, they probably lose control. So they're going to be, once again, an anti-infantry unit. You want to get them in combat as quick as possible.
Yep.
So it's going to be one of those things. You want to protect them from archer fire and cavalry, but you want to get them into combat with infantry as soon as possible.
Yeah. There's the frenzy. You can see how powerful that is. They won't break. They have a better charge. They have a lot more damage and melee attack buff. It's good, and it's a constant duration augmentation. So it's running all the time. And you can quite see it there. There's the buff on it. Yep, so... just don't get them full of arrows and should be fine. So we have a unit of Dark Shields. So there's your sort of basic shielded units. They're spear. These are the repeating crossbowmen.
These are the guys. Honestly, we've seen these in action. Something about having a massive kite shield and that kind of repeating crossbow,
being able to hide
Chinese repeating crossbow. Yeah. It just looks amazing. They're so powerful. Really, really good unit. And they just look amazing. Like I think of all the units in the Dark Elves, these are the ones I like the most.
Yeah, of the ability with repeating crossbow to just get a sheer weight of rapid fire is not something that most like, I don't think any Warhammer race really has outside of the Dark Elves.
So the range of them won't be the highest, but, you know, damage and just, like...
You get a pepper people.
Range of fire.
There is an ammunition problem with them. Like, that's not a lot of ammo. They're going to run out of ammo pretty fast. So maybe if you're going to be using a lot of them, you probably want a Lord in the campaign that can get you the extra ammo, that get the ammo carts ability. Maybe there's some upgrades to be able to increase that.
Some campaign buffs for stuff like that.
So
and
just bear that in mind.
And these infantry still will do quite well in combat. I mean, they're not going to do great, but they're still going to do, you know, okay.
Yeah, they're not as bad as a lot of archers, which are just completely useless in melee combat, right?
When you're dealing with elves in general, like when it comes to putting them in combat afterwards, they usually hold up quite okay.
Yeah. Moving on to another very famous unit and one of my personal favorites in fantasy. I remember when I got my first lead Cold War Knight, and have a knight riding a dinosaur, and they kind of do exactly what you expect. But just like the tabletop game, there's a bit of a problem with Cold Ones, and that's that they don't really respond well to orders.
No, they've got this problem is they like to go after whatever's in front of them, really. So, and then that's something you have to try and keep in check, because obviously these guys are your kind of shot cav, and they're anti-large, armor-piercing, armor and shield. So in a lot of cases, these things can hunt down like dragons and other big monsters. I know a lot of people think it's stupid when cavalry charge a dragon. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think that's what these guys are very good for doing. So
they're extremely resistant to missile by the looks of it, because they're shielded and they have good armor.
Sphere, everything. I mean, these guys are very, very good for mopping up. These are going to be your hammer in this hammer and anvil, and you know these guys will be able to go one-on-one with any of the big monsters. So if you come against Lizardmen, stuff like that, well, I can't think of a better way to fight Lizardmen than to
with more lizards, right?
Yeah.
There's 36 of them in the unit, so that's a lot of Cold One damage. Just again, be a little careful, because you might lose control of these things. They're a bit dangerous.
Yeah, so it's going to be a situation where you're having a lot of enemies nearby, and you want to pull them out of combat. You got to be very careful with that, because they will just go for whatever's in front of them half the time.
Yeah, but honestly, like historically, through a lot of the iterations, of Cold One Knights have been some of the highest tier cavalry in Warhammer Fantasy. Like, there's very little that matches up to them. Like, the highest end Protonian Knights, maybe Chaos Knights, but usually these guys are amazing. And they cost, both in terms of actual miniature money and points, a lot to field these bastards.
Because they're so powerful.
They are really, really strong. So, Dark Riders... So, you know, the Dark Riders were a thing in fantasy as well. These are obviously horse archers, but you give a horse archer a repeating crossbow, and you can fire a huge weight of rapid fire right into the back of an enemy.
I'm getting flashbacks of too many Total War games where I've had missile cavalry apps.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And these guys
the horse archers, we're all screwed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, in some cases, it's just like,
they're so annoying.
I'm just going to let you shoot me until you run out of ammo.
To be fair, when I played Warriors of Chaos in the first one, I went with a lot of the raiders on horseback, and it was just circle around them, keep throwing spears and axes at them.
Yeah.
It was if the AI had feelings, they would have been pissed. And a couple of little specials. We got a unit of harpies.
Yeah, that's going to be good for just getting to the archers, you know, tying down some units. You know, they're not going to be very powerful, but they're very fast, and you can vanguard deploy them, but not in a quest battle, obviously.
Yeah. So, you know, they're going to get shot out of the sky pretty quickly, so you got to be a little bit careful about that. But you get these around the back and maybe start picking off an archer unit from the back with it. That'll work pretty well.
Yeah, they're just going to be very useful for tying down stuff like, you know, artillery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just quick support across the battlefield, which is always useful.
Yeah. Considering the amount of archers that our enemy has, we might want to keep them back just for a little bit. And last but by no means least,
Hydra.
Hail Hydra. The 5-headed War Hydra. Very powerful monster unit. It's got a lot of cool stuff, like it breathes fire.
Yes, indeed. It has regeneration as well, so if it's out of combat, it'll start healing up again. Scary skin causes terror, as you would expect.
I mean, look at the thing.
Heads.
Yep, 5, in fact.
5?
Yeah, it's got 5 heads, right?
What's that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I'm really bad at counting.
There we go. It's a 5-headed Hydra. Yeah. Don't worry, we all had problems with maths GCSE. I barely passed. Regeneration, like you said, and scaly skin, big deal, because you're not going to be able to tear it down with missiles, but little problem, fire weakness.
A lot of units picking up that fire weakness.
Think about a troll. Except this is a lot bigger and breathes fire and is way more scary than a troll.
And then obviously it's got its ability there, 3 procs on that, and that will be its fire breath.
Yep. Someone asked about why Harpies in Dark Elf Army. They've always been in Dark Elf armies, mate. Ever since like 10 years ago, they're in the army list. They, you know, Harpies are the kind of neutral units that'll join some armies just for reasons. You know, Harpies are in the Dark Elf army list in the tabletop game. So they're not, and I don't know, are these different to the Beastman Harpies in any way, or basically the same unit?
Do not believe so. They look very similar.
Yeah, so there's a bit of overlap there. It's just how it is. And that's what we have. And first things first, we're going to watch this army get eaten. But the question is, you know, we should probably move up behind them for obvious reasons. We should start to group some stuff together. So our cavalry, we'll want them in a unit there. I like Dark Riders on their own so we can control them carefully.
I think you could probably just group up your entire army.
Yeah,
just to move them up closer. So, yeah, I'll just control from left to right over on all units and then just group them up. Yeah,
I'm going to put this on our main one just so for later. And these are our missile cavalry on 3. And, of course, our monsters. And include monster on 4. There we go. We do need to watch out for the witch. I'm going to put it on 5 because I want them to flank around. Yeah. But for the time being, as you said, we don't have any artillery pieces, so we don't really need to worry about placing those. Just put them behind. There we go.
Indeed. One always useful thing you can do is when you have your groups locked, if you just click on the unit and whatever formation they're already in at the time, whenever you right-click somewhere, they'll stay in that formation.
They'll stay in it, yeah.
Which is, it's really, like a lot of the complex side of a battle is really just trying to keep your formation while you're moving.
Yeah. All right. Let's watch our Meat Shield Cannon army get eaten alive. And it will. Most likely.
Yeah, that artillery it can fire like a big cluster bomb of them, or it can just fire like small individual ones. There's a big spell which kind of clipped them.
Yeah, it actually whiffed a bit. Yeah. Here come the arrows. Yeah. They're gonna get absolutely peppered. As you can see, we can't do anything about this because this is the Allied army. Malekith sent these forward to waste some ammo, basically, and that's what's happening. They look like they're going to get into combat with them, though.
Yeah, he's very capricious in that way. He doesn't really care about these guys. You get him out there, you know, soak it up. And but which is one good thing you can use Malekith, is you can get in there while they're fighting and drop some big spells down in combat.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. The rest of them are going to hold back for the time being.
I would look for that...
with a big vortex?
No, go for the chill wind in a big long line. You have to line them up like directly on like the...
Let's bring around the side here, then.
Yep, definitely.
Honestly, the Dark Shards fire, because I really want to see how fast repeating crossbows go. We could maybe hit those knights.
Remember? Yeah, they're not anti-infantry. I wouldn't use a spell on them though. I'd go for hand-to-hand. You want to use that spell, kind of like you see that lining up over there.
I see it. I'm
you want it
around.
on your infantry.
Yep. Let's see what we can get.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right through the line. And then maybe we'll breathe fire on arch and stuff. Yeah, went right through them.
And then you do have that vortex.
Where's the vortex?
Is it the bottom spell?
Blade Wind.
Yeah. Oh, right in the middle there. Yes, yes.
There we go. This should do the job.
Let's see it. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hitting your own guys as well, but who really cares?
Who cares? But, sir, won't we hit our own troops? Yeah, we'll hit theirs as well.
And the murderous prowess going, bar being filled up, so you're going to want to use that. And you want to get your troops in combat when that bar hits.
Do some breathing. All right, we're sort of getting to that point. I'm going to... Oh, we're starting to take some fire.
You.
All right, well, I'm not going to have any of that. Shoot back, you bastards. All right, I'm going to send my archers forward to just open fire indiscriminately. Cold ones, in the meantime, up here to chase down the Silverhelms. There we go.
Watch out that cav on the flanks.
Yep, we do have our halberdier units.
I'd just get your witches in there and your infantry, like get block 2 and 5 in there because their range units are tied up now.
Yeah, the cavalry's coming in. We do need to watch out for that because it's coming right at our range units, but we do have blackguards that are coming to intercept.
That's a big charge from a cav. It got straight through your range units there.
It'll hurt, but we have a Hydra for that.
You got cold ones fighting them as well.
Malekith is getting wrecked. He's being filled full of holes.
Yeah. Click on his portrait, quick.
Portrait?
Yeah.
I just did. Okay.
Get away.
I'm moving. He's moving. He's going. Yep. Yeah, that was a mistake. We kind of left him, and arrows can hurt. He's breaking.
High Elves
he's
actually very good at range, so you kind of gave him a bit of a gift there.
That was a bit of a stupid thing to do, yeah.
He might come back. Oh, just make him invisible, like you did with the...
I don't think that's going to work. Not at all. Well, the fire's coming in. They're actually coming right at me now. They broke through that way faster than I expected. Let's bring the Corsairs in from the back and go for it. Our Hydra is in the mix.
He's rallied, by the way.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's a bit of an idiot for doing that, isn't
Yeah, but
he?
you might want to keep him away from ranged units for a while.
Yeah, we still got those range units at the back that are being a bit of a problem. I'm thinking, like, can we get something that'll maybe get the Dark Riders in on them? Now everybody's in combat. Our cold ones are in the mix in the middle.
Yeah, but they're fighting Phoenix Guards, you want to get them out.
Pull them back.
If they listen to your orders.
And Teclis has showed up, so this is going to get a bit messy. Alright. Yeah, this was not quite as easy as it looked, so we will most likely have to do this again. We did screw up quite badly. Maybe throw we missed with the Doombolt as well.
You can just get them into combat, maybe that'll be the smartest place, but... they're putting a load of spells down on your troops over there.
Oh, man. Oh, God. It's Teclis is just murdering everybody. Speaking of murdering, Murderous Intent has kicked in.
Oh, dear. Look at the sky.
It's a Phoenix. We're in really bad. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
Malekith's gonna bring us down, I think. We'll have to try this one again. Nowhere near as easy as it appeared. We really could get the range units of them. Try and engage with those. Harpies are in the mix. Hydra is hanging around doing nothing. That's not okay. You get in there on their high mage. There we go.
Yeah, Teclis is very powerful.
Yep.
These guys are just gonna really, really hurt.
Yep. Had to, like, drop a blade wind just... Oh, no, that turned around, damn it! They juked me hard.
Well, you got the spell off.
Yeah, well, we didn't do anything, but... One last breath of fire before Malekith probably dies to the Phoenix.
Trying. He's getting hit.
He's down! He's down.
Damn.
We screwed
that up. You've got
Murderous
Prowess going on, so you can see all your units have got that purple...
Look at all that stuff that's coming at us.
Yeah. Oh, watch this. This is amazing, this. It's like a carpet bomb.
Oh, my God.
It's like Vietnam kind of level of napalm.
That is... We got wrecked. Yeah, we completely underestimated the High Elf Archers, and we really paid the price for that. Halberdiers are in the mix, but I think they just got hit from the flank. Rest of our Witch Elves, you get back in this shit. Cold One Knights over there. You need to go and deal with that mage now.
Yeah.
So, this is turning into a rout.
Yeah, it's not quite going the way we were hoping.
I mean, getting Malekith killed that stupidly was probably not the right way to go. The Executioners are doing very well. The fact that they managed to charge all of our ranged units really screwed us up badly. These guys are... we've sort of... the Phoenix is
Phoenix is fighting your Hydra.
The Hydra should murder it, right? You'd think.
It is, but he's taking a lot of missile damage as well. And you just lost your Lord, so...
yeah, it's not helpful.
Your Lord, so it's a little painful right now.
And we're being bombarded by all of this. Oh, did they just drop another Phoenix? Well, looks of it. Alright, a Harpy's going in after the Phoenix to try and finish him off. The Hydra just regenerated. It didn't care.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing about a lot of these monsters, that they just take a pounding. You need to focus on the infantry in most cases. Oh, this is nasty. That's a big route. That's a chain route.
Yeah, that's unpleasant. The Hydra's still okay, though, for the moment. And they're kind of holding with the Blackguard, so they're steady. But unfortunately, that's just an overwhelming number of enemies.
Yeah.
And the mage got away.
Phoenix before it gets away.
It's get the Phoenix.
Get the Phoenix.
Oh my God! Oh, that's it. Everybody routs. Everybody dies.
That was.
So those worried about the difficulty,
got smashed.
Yeah, you could still screw this up really badly. Wrecked. Let's maybe try and do a little bit better this time. We messed that up horribly.
Valiant defeat. I think that's been kind.
I would say so. That was kind, yeah. So what we learned from that: High Elf Cavalry are very good. High Elf Archers are really good.
Yeah, indeed.
Very dangerous. So we do not want, having Malekith fly around being filled full of holes, probably not the best way to handle it.
Betamania says, a shameful display.
A shameful display. Our men are running from the battle. I'll never get old. Oh my God.
We did an episode with him on a rally point, and he looks exactly what you would expect him to look like.
Yeah. God, we messed this up so badly. Okay, right. Stop.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so what happened last time? Right, well, we let Malekith hang around near archers. Let's not do that.
We got a good spell off, which is useful.
Yeah.
But obviously, we need to be a bit more careful with him, and we need to tie down their archers as quick as possible. So we need to use those cold ones and harpies to go around the back.
Yeah, it's difficult because this area right here is very constrained, so we're going to have to run up here quickly and kind of come around the side like that.
Well, most of their units are going to still be tied down with what's in front of you, so you want to probably split your army in 2 ways. So you got a left and right.
Yep.
And your left and archers completely separate. Just let them go straight down the middle, and then have one side of your army go left and one go right. You just need to tie down those archers and get your corsairs and your witches into combat as soon as possible, and the executioners. I mean, I don't want to forget the executioners. Those guys are monsters in combat.
We'll get those sort of in number 5, and we do not have a huge amount of anti-cavalry, so we need to be sparing with our blackguard and probably have them in front of the archers to stop that shock from happening again.
Yeah, they're definitely your reserve troops. In a total game, you always want your kind of front line, you want your reserves, and you want your archers. You need to be able to work out what kind is coming towards you, how to counter it, and also how to get your killing blow in there.
Yeah,
so you don't always just play too defensively.
Yeah, so I've moved forward our archers so that, in fact, I'm going to put them even further forward. We're going to have our range troops where these guys are standing right now, because they'll have moved forward by then. So, nice firing line, and we're going to have a unit of blackguard sort of here on the flank, a unit of blackguard kind of here on the flank. And if we see cavalry come towards us, we can collapse in on them. And that should do the job. And if we have the Hydra backing them up for that, that will probably work pretty well.
Yeah, so he's going to do really good in combat, but we've also got those range spells as well. And last time when we played with it last time, it kind of hits everywhere. So it's good to hit those big blobs.
Yeah, we'll have Malekith sort of a bit behind because these guys at the front are probably going to take the brunt of the arrow fire. So Malekith, because we had Malekith here exposed in front of 5 archery units.
Yeah, and High Elf archers are ridiculously powerful. It's where they go to. So Tyrion is Warhammer's John Cena.
Yeah.
Can't get a single stream, I don't think, I can do without getting a wrestling reference.
I mean, you were 2 wrestling fans in this room. Like, we were watching NXT last night, so yeah, that's going to happen. You don't really have much of a choice in the matter.
Well, these guys are the authors of pain, obviously. They're big monsters.
They certainly were last game. There's no doubt about that. So hopefully we can bring sanity to this particular battle here. All right. Cool. Let's go. Executioners weren't anti-large, like, not anti-cavalry anyway. Like, greatsword infantry generally are not anti-cavalry.
No.
And, executioners were just, they murder a lot of infantry. They're big, beastie infantry.
Yeah.
They're armor-piercing, so, you could use it against the large unit that was heavily armored, sure, but...
They've got damage. They will hurt these units. It's just not what they're aiming to do. That's cavalry is always a job of something with a big, long spear, basically.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. Greatsword's not really the ideal thing to do that.
Indeed. And obviously, you always want just... If you've got a big sword, smash someone with a shield.
Yeah.
Or someone without a shield, even
Keep
better.
an eye out for Techless, and as you said, we really need to get these Witch Elves in here so they can get the murderous intent up. We kind of know that Techless is coming from this direction this time, so we're going to be a bit more
Spoilers.
careful. Indeed. Speaking of that, apparently some people are mad about Malekith's voice change in this versus the trailer. Is the VO final in this build, to the best of your knowledge, or not?
I do not think so, because obviously everything's subject change, but I'm not aware of who the voices are or anything. Something I'm sure we'll be able to talk about closer to launch, but I don't have that information on me, I'm sorry.
Alright, so there's your info. So if, you're mad about it, let people know. Give feedback, and don't be a dick about it. That's how things get changed.
Yeah, if you've got questions about anything you're seeing, obviously you can ask it in chat, and if I haven't got an answer for you, always go to our forums, because we're very active on there, so we'll be able to hopefully answer any questions you have.
Alright, our ranged units are on the way forward. We need to make sure the riders get in there as well. Malekith is, we're lining up for a good blade run. They're backing off this time. Alright, yeah, let's use a vortex on the... Oh, that's right. They're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. Alright.
Oh, that's gonna be perfect.
Boom! Oh, yes. Oh, it hit the knights as well. That's dangerous.
That's killing.
Yeah, that's nasty stuff.
That's like 3 units just to lost loads of the HP.
Yeah, I'm going to immediately put Power of Darkness because I can afford to lose the HP right now.
Oh my god, just put another wind of, straight down the middle. Doesn't matter who you're on, guys. Yeah. Straight down, start there, yeah.
Yeah, screw everybody else. Yeah, just put it right down the middle here. And then our range units should be in range by now. Oh, their range is way lower than I thought because repeater crossbows aren't that good.
Just get the rest of your army up here as soon as possible.
Yeah,
like they've bunched up, so you get your counter on the back.
Yeah, I brought my cold ones in. They can hit right from the flank now. We can get the Harpies to charge in and tie down the bolt throwers. There we go.
Let's get those infantry up as quick as possible.
Yeah, they're on the way.
And get the Hydra as well.
Yep, Hydra is there, backing up the range units. Let's get them a bit closer. Yep, they should be able to open fire now. The Chillwind went right down the middle. They're not firing. They are not firing at Malekith just yet, which is good. So we can keep popping Power of Darkness. It basically drains my health to get me mana back.
Use the dragon breath, and that doesn't cost you anything.
Yep. I'll use that.
Just keep firing.
Good. So once we hit our own troops, so yeah, we're gonna hit the white lions, which is what matters. We gotta dispose of this guy quickly because the second army's on the way. There's the breath, right into the middle.
So oh, bolt throwers firing at your
Malekith.
Malekith.
Backing him off. Executioners are ready to get in the mix with some damage units. Yep, our harpies are going to go tie down the bolt throwers. Our cold one's now charging.
Yeah.
Let's split off one unit here.
Hit insert and watch the charge on your second unit. Yeah, the second one.
Here we go. Oh, and they're going to go right through, just right through them. Here they are.
I love that, being able to just get close up and see everything.
We are going to hit spears, but we're hitting them from the flank. They weren't prepared, so it doesn't matter. Right through them.
Very nice, very nice. You can see that unit cav trying to run away at the back.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do about tying them down. Alright, let's slow it down a second to find out what we have available to deal with that. Okay, here's those. Oh shit.
That's the second army. Oh no,
no, it's not. Oh, it's the damn cavalry. Alright, it's okay. We have the Blackguard right there, and we got the Hydra. Here he is. Alright. Okay, so I kept the bulk of our force here to make sure that we're immediately ready to counter that. So we're going to move into position, and Malekith can move into position to do that as well. In the meantime, these guys are tied down nicely. Cold one's just hit the archers in the back.
Gonna murder them.
Yeah, that's good. We're racking up that murderous intent pretty quickly. The harpies are tied down the bolt thrower quite nicely, so that has reduced their artillery ability quite well. And as for... let's see what we've got coming in from where. Alright, they're coming in from this direction.
Oh, that's a lot of spells been dropped early on.
Alright, let's quickly try and evade as much as we can. I'm going to angle our units around a little bit so we don't quite deal with as much of that.
That unit spears you got right now, drop it on that cav unit rushing at you. Yeah, you need those silver helms down.
Yeah, we could also hit them with a Doombolt or the Chillwind if we aim it right.
Chillwind, the armies just come in.
Alright, this kind of from...
That's your guys, that's your guys.
Oh, are they? Okay, yeah, there we go. Go for it. Alright, Phoenix is on its way. These guys got frozen, didn't they?
Yeah, they put down that spell, and that's nasty. You're going to have to get them into combat as soon as possible. You still got a unit in the back there.
These executions need to engage this Lord, because our range units just got hit by that. Our range units really need to be hitting the Sword Masters. He's moving in right there.
Get those guys on your right flank engaged in fights, because they're standing there and they're just getting peppered by
these guys, yep. Alright, in you get. Our range just coming in, and we're about to pepper them in a big way. Malekith is still over here, so we can bring in that archer unit is tying down immediately. Where is my Cold One unit? Oh, that one's gone berserk. But these guys aren't, and they can hit from the rear.
Where is that one?
This one?
Double click on the
It's going nuts, killing bolt throwers and stuff, and it's in the mix with the rest of our dummy forces, so that's kind of fine.
You have a unit which is
Black
still
Arc
back in your start location.
Really? What's that?
Pan Cam. There you go, those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get them onto either those or the sword infantry over there.
Yeah.
That's going to be painful.
Still a lot of cav. Yeah, well, these guys never got into cavalry somehow. We need the Blackguard in there immediately. Also, where's our Hydra? Our Hydra's like not tied down anymore. He can go against the cavalry. In fact, I'm actually alright with just fireballing them.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Our Harpies are back in action. We have eliminated their bolt throwers.
Yeah, they're dead. No need to worry about
these
them.
cold ones are going to hit these guys from the rear, so we're good. Alright, so this is the mess that's going on, but we've got a lot. We're raining damage down on them right now. They're actually not targeting Malekith.
Get Malekith on
Blade
Vortex.
Wind.
Vortex.
Yeah.
Vortex it.
Yeah, Blade Wind right in the middle. This should do some damage.
Yeah,
the Phoenix just engaged him in combat, but the Phoenix has already taken damage.
This time you can finish him off.
Yeah. And,
it's payback time.
Oh, look at the amount of firepower we are bringing in here. It's massive. We're just raining it down. And the Black Arc says, you know what, you can take the damage, it's fine. So I think the next round of fire should be focused on the Phoenix. Bring it down. Like, pull Malekith out of the fight and just pepper this guy with arrows.
And Murder's Intent has just kicked in now, so all your units are going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage.
Yep.
That spell just kind of landed behind them because they moved forward to get away from it. You can see the mess on back.
Yeah, so I'm pulling Malekith back, and then there's just going to be a huge volley of repeating bolt fire that goes right into that Phoenix. There we go. So they're focused on that. This Witch Elf unit is free.
Charged into the back of those archers.
I'm going to send the Witch Elf over there. The Hydra is still screwing up the Phoenix Guard quite well. So that's okay. Our range units are here. The Illyrian Reavers just broke. These guys are still fighting Illyrian Reavers, which is not ideal.
No one really gets a big bonus from that fight, but, you know, well, one's anti-infantry.
The Sword Masters just broke. That Phoenix is still on
I would
Malekith.
keep fighting it. I would just fight it. Like, just use what you can in combat.
I'm listening. Like if I've, I can put Word of Pain on it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That should knock its ability down a bit.
Now just in combat, you should win that fight.
Yeah.
Is he fighting him? Like double click on him, make sure he's because sometimes you're casting spells. You right click on your.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he's in there.
Look at that, man. He's got
he's
like, no
weakened
abilities
now.
right now.
Yeah, he's screwed.
But he can always regain his HP. He is a Phoenix after all.
Yep. So we need to put arrows in the middle of this.
Yeah, you need to get in combat with that blob of archers over there, because that's really causing.
Yeah, we have the Black Arc Corsairs that can go in there.
Oh, that Phoenix is going to die. It's not looking good.
Let's see what happens to it. Let's keep an eye on this fight. Oh, if I hit insert, do I get a better view of it?
Or hit K as well. That just takes away the UI.
Yeah, we can go full speed. Let's have a watch that fight as the Phoenix goes down, and it will. Oh, it's running.
It's not having a good day.
No, it's not. It's faster than me, so it will get away. But that means I can bring Malekith around and get in on Teclis.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight.
Yep, these guys are engaged.
And you still got your chill wind as well. You can always use that again.
Yep.
I mean, who cares if you hate about hitting your own guys?
Yeah, I'm not getting a good angle on it from here. Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Left you just dropped it. Yeah, you always want to kind of bring around.
Yeah, I'm going to bring him around and face him here and then hit right through the middle. And our range units still need to get in there. How's the Hydra doing? Very well. Phoenix Guard are just getting murdered by him.
Go back to Malekith, so I think that Phoenix is back.
Is it? What a bitch. Yeah, he's a dick. He's back. Oh, he's actually going after archers.
Hit the wind, hit the wind.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Right, straight there.
Right through the middle.
Yeah.
Go, hit him. He went after... There we go. It was damaging anyway. He's gone right... the Phoenix is back. He revived himself.
But for how long?
Some of our guys broke.
It's going through your troops.
Yeah, and they broke as a result. But we are throwing a lot of ranged firepower at it, so I think it will crack under the weight of that. And our Harpies are sort of being hanging back here the entire time.
They're not the most, long-lasting troops. They're
not really.
More hit and run.
Yeah, these guys actually survived. Like, the meat army is dead, so they've finally broken through. We do have a solid unit of Cold One Knights that really needs to be hitting what's left of those archers. And those Witch Elves can chase those down, too. Our Black Arc Corsairs can intercept the fleeing units. We have more Corsairs here as well. This is...
Let's just run them all off the field.
He's basically gone now.
Yeah, just crippled their leadership.
Yep, and that's it. And Teclis is getting eaten.
Press K. Yeah.
Get him. Get Teclis on his way out. Don't let him get away. Can I slow him? Do I have a spell to do that? Maybe not, but... Go! Don't let Teclis get away. He's a dick. He ruined everything.
He's gonna get away.
Ah! I wish we could just pick him up and drop him. Oh my god, we did! Knocked him over. He's still alive because he's a dick.
He has a lot of HP.
Oh, please finish him! Oh. He's on 0, but he got away. Ah, Teclis leaves to fight another day. What an arse.
That was a close battle as well.
I think it went pretty well. I think our strategy was pretty solid.
I think it worked this time. They did blow. They came a bit too close together, so we were able to go around them. But that's what we were planning to do.
We still did a poor job of handling their cavalry charge, but we did have the Blackguard close at that time, so the world collapsing. The Hydra just did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Of just holding a lot of them down.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, he did really well. I was a bit touch and go when that extra army came in, and they put the net down on your troops, and did so much damage to them early on.
That big burst of spells did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Thankfully, like stuff like our executioners were, I think, mostly out of the way of that, and they didn't hit our ranged, which was like fresh and ready to go. The range probably contributed quite a bit. Let's check the after action report to find out exactly how it did. Pyrrhic victory, but hey, because Teclis got away. Teclis hadn't got away, maybe it wouldn't have been.
No.
But.
Like, it's about. I've lost this battle once or twice, actually. I usually get a bit too cocky with
Malekith did 157.
He's a monster.
These are monsters. Cold One did 156.
That unit's not even dead in any way.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. This one got hit pretty hard, but this one got a perfect charge on a unit of archers, wrecked it, hit a second one, hit shields from the back. The Harpies are crap. But the thing is, they tied down a bolt thrower, which kind of was what they needed to do.
Yeah, they're for that, basically. That get in the way and kill units, hold down units that might otherwise cause severe trouble to the rest of your elite troops.
Switch Elves did well. The Executioners did okay. these guys didn't do anything. Don't know what their whole fight. I think I kept them mostly out of the fight, which was a bit of a
They were
problem.
the guys that got hit by the net and
they got locked down.
early
Yeah,
on.
I did all right. Yeah, Malik is obviously the monster here. As for what we fought against here, this is Tyrion's force. We can see the others. Teclis actually did far less damage than I expected. The main thing was the Phoenix. The Phoenix did a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, that big napalm strike that he has. It's got a name, but it literally just looks like someone just dropped a napalm strike.
And these 3 units of Illyrian Reavers showed up and did a bit of damage to our range.
Hit those archers.
Yeah, their most dangerous unit, the Phoenix Guard, acquitted themselves very well.
Phoenix
as did the White Lions.
Solid troops.
The White Lions didn't even die. They still have half their HP left when they got away.
Yeah, well, live to fight another day, I guess.
Yep. Their archers this time, they would have been lethal, but the Silver Helms and the Dragon Princes did huge damage.
Yeah, there was, like I said, the High Elves are really well-rounded as a faction, and with their mix of cavalry, solid infantry and amazing range. And cav and monstrous creatures, they just have a bit of everything. I think they're kind of a bit like the Empire in that regard. They have a bit of everything when it comes to the variety and kind of mash of their troops.
True that. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Yeah, it's the Dark Elves look like they're fun to play. Certainly, there's some really good units in there. I will probably do exactly what I've done with a lot of our factions, which is go very heavy range, because the weight of fire with repeating crossbows seems kind of ridiculous.
True, but the true strength of the Dark Elves, and especially in Warhammer 2, seems to be a lot of close combat troops. I mean, they're all about getting in there, slaughter and capturing slaves.
Yeah, it would be nice to go half repeating crossbows and half just witch elf units, just soften the units up and then send all the witch elves in to mop up the rest. But to be fair, Cold One Knights is still amazing. So
army of Cold Ones, please.
Yeah, pretty
Cold
much.
One with the balls.
Well, the thing is, there's Dread Cold Ones as well, aren't there? Dread Knight Cold Ones. I assume they're designed for a bit of a different role.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be able to show off a lot more of those in the future, and
hopefully,
get yourself a hand on those.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Neat. All right, let's do a little bit more Q&A before we wrap the stream. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark. As I mentioned before, we have campaign gameplay coming up on the YouTube channel. There's still a few bugs with that, so there'll be a long edited video, because we're going to have quite a few hours of footage, so posting like a 5-hour campaign video really isn't an option. So that's just sort of how it goes. So let's do a few more quick-fire questions for Dogbert, if you don't mind. Questions about Total War Warhammer 2, things you can actually answer.
Yeah, definitely.
As opposed to when are you getting the Star Wars license in 30 years or whatever. So throw it, use @Totalbiscuit, so we can see it. It's just up on the second monitor. He's literally sitting right next to me, so feel free to go for that.
Is there going to be a King and Warlords type DLC planned after launch? Obviously, we're going to have something, and can't say exactly what it's going to be, but obviously we're looking at expanding on a lot of our DLC, and you're going to have, at least for, when we release races, they will have, a large faction with, multiple legendary lords. They're going to be a lot bigger than, say, some of our stuff in the past, because we know a lot of people don't really want to play the miniature campaigns, so we're focusing more on fleshing out the
I assume you've got sort of stats to back that up, and you've seen that clearly people don't really go for that.
We have very detailed stats on what people like, but more importantly, we also listen to what people say. They want to play big, fleshed out factions.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to give them.
Yeah, because there were definitely some, let's be completely frank about that, there were definitely some. Warriors of Chaos in particular was not as well fleshed out as the others, and that was disappointing for quite a few people, myself included, really. So it'll be good to see that not happening again. So that will hopefully be good. Bear in mind, of course, for Total War 1, they did just release an update which fleshed out a lot of stuff, and there's kind of some more to come there. And the Norska faction just came out as well. Haven't had a chance to play them yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's going down well. Everyone seems to really enjoy Norska. They have kind of monster hunting ability for quests, so you go hunt down these monsters, kill them, and then you can use them in your campaign. Who doesn't really like chaotic Vikings from the cold wastes of the north? So,
especially when you have big mammoth units.
Yeah, and obviously that's the pre-order incentive for Warhammer 2, which you can immediately play in Warhammer 1, and so that's available now if anyone wants to play it. And obviously, for Warhammer 2, what else have we got here?
Is the Cauldron of Blood unit in the game?
Well, this one's more for you. Which race would you like to see that's not currently in the game?
That I would like to see? Probably
interested.
Chaos Dwarves, I think. They're very overlooked. I played them in Blood Bowl, and they're fun. They're very different. It's not just evil dwarves. There's a lot more to them than that. Yeah. So, and they haven't been touched on an awful lot in really any game. So I'd like to see Chaos Dwarves.
I love their kind of like mix of old gods kind of stuff from like Earth's history. Well, it's kind of like Baal and stuff like that.
Yeah, very much
like
like Lovecraftian kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like I love the imagery of it.
In the combined map, will there be much gap between the continents?
I've loaded it up at some point. I did look. I don't think there is. I think it's quite close together. Actually, a lot closer when I've seen the maps in some of the lore. But it's very they're quite close, so you'll be able to get between them quite quickly.
Yep. Do the Skaven have internal assassinations as a mechanic?
You can assassinate the other faction leaders. There are other Skaven factions. I mean, we came across some of our.
We did, yeah.
yesterday.
There was definitely some infighting involved there.
So, backstabbing is just going to be something you do, but factions will do it to you and you'll do it to them, most likely. I don't think you're ever going to be friends with Skaven factions.
I don't think so. Doesn't seem very likely.
What else? Will there be a hunt for dinosaur? I'm not sure about that. Naval battles. You can fight. Your armies can become like a navy on thing, but you don't have any naval battles.
Yeah, and you're not adding them into like that's. No. But they are adding a ship bombardment. So
yeah, that's only with the Black Arcs. Though.
Yes,
so that's
very
that's
limited.
Unique to the Dark Elves as a campaign faction. So you will lose if the AI manages to complete the Vortex campaign before you. There'll be loads of things that happen around that. You will lose the campaign. So you can choose not to follow this and just destroy all the factions on the map, but it's encouraged to go down this narrative and claim the Vortex for your faction or destabilize it, whatever your faction's trying to do. We've got kind of two factions that are kind of more trying to keep it running and keep chaos from entering the world, and then we've got two others, Dark Elves and Skaven, who as you could probably guess just want everything to burn in some way, shape or form.
And there are ways and means to interfere with them doing rituals on the Vortex that don't directly involve just attacking them and their cities, right?
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot from that. When more tournaments spawn from here in the future, I mean, obviously, let's see how Warhammer 2 does on multiplayer, but we always look to support our tournaments when we can, and we'll definitely be doing that from launch out there, see what we can do and get prizes out for everyone. Obviously, that's something that's been kind of active in Total War for a long time. You have people look at it, it's not really the kind of game you would expect much tournaments on, but we've had a very hardcore and very vocal multiplayer scene in Total War for a long, long time, and a lot of the guys stream that stuff and run these tournaments on Total War Reddit quite a lot. Yeah,
and of course, you remember Time Commanders on Channel 4 a long time ago that used, I think it was Rome, it used the original Rome.
It was on BBC and it came back recently.
Oh, it was on BBC? Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They had who's the guy from MasterChef? Why have I forgot this?
I don't know. I've forgotten.
Oh my god, Greg Wallace was the host for it.
It was Greg Wallace, the only person
I'll show you Greg Wallace, Buttery Biscuit Base.
Oh, he's Buttery Biscuit Base, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, if I explain it like the
base,
then it's fine.
I like the base. Biscuit Base, Buttery Biscuit Base.
If I bought DLC rates of Warhammer 1, do I need to buy them again for Warhammer 2? No, and if you're playing in the Mega Campaign, they'll be playable in that as well.
Yep. They're not they're not much of a bunch of dickheads. You wouldn't want to make you buy that again. That would not go down well.
Anything about Bone River? And I can't say. Tank Command is really good. I put an army in for that. I put a team in for that, like the very first one, and it did not go well.
Oh.
And they didn't. Well, I think in their show they didn't particularly want gamers to turn up, because if they did, they probably would have aced it.
Yeah, probably. Now we have a Greg Wallace hate group going on the channel. Apparently, Buttery Biscuit Base is not acceptable for Time Commanders. Good to know that. Good to know. No, we can't show us game. We will show you that where they start on the campaign map in the YouTube video. Like I said, we're only showing quest battles on the stream, and we're showing campaign on the YouTube video. Free-for-all question. You knew the answer to that, I believe.
No, you can only do 4-player free-for-all. Maybe we're looking to change that in the future, but who knows? But it'll be 4-player free-for-all.
Right.
You'll be able to spectate that as well. By the way, on free-for-all, the way it's going to be different is it's all about the damage you do.
Okay.
So you can have four of the races. You can get wiped out immediately by all 3 of them, but if you do a load of damage, that's going to be up on the scoreboard. So you can be wiped out in the first 2 minutes and still win the game. Obviously, there's a percentage if you have troops at the very end of the battle, you will still gain some points from that, but not as much as you would from just going out there and smashing. So it's kind of a bit more carefree in that regard. You don't have to worry so much about having a very big counter build, because you've got 3 other players who God knows what they have. So my builds when I play Lizardman, Carnosaurs, anything mounted basically, hit and run, don't get tied down.
Sounds good. Let's see. Well, I'll do a couple more questions before we wrap this up, folks. Here's one. Here's a tricky one. Try and take that one on right here about this Skaven and the lore and the mechanics and stuff.
I don't think we have anything mechanic-wise which revolves around like removing evidence and so forth.
Yeah, so pretty everyone realizes the Skaven now exists. Like, that's not a real doubt, right?
Do you know how hard it's been for like since we announced Warhammer 2 to always just say the 4th faction?
Yeah.
Like, so many times I've been out with the other YouTubers and stuff like that, and I just can't say it. So I'm always saying 4th faction, 4th faction. Being able to say Skaven is kind of a relief at this point.
Yep. Are regiments of renown in Warhammer 2?
I'm sure we'll have something like that in the future.
Okay. So that's not a confirmation in the base game.
I think it's something that the community have really enjoyed and really liked. We've recently released, we're going to be releasing, or we have released, 30 units of Regiment Renowned for CA's 30th birthday.
Okay.
Because CA is 30 years old yesterday.
Ah, there you go.
I know that only because it's like right on top of mine. So.
And you're 30 years old today?
Yeah, the studio is literally 1 day older than me.
There you go. Apparently, what's your favorite implemented faction? I guess that probably counts the Warhammer 1 ones as well.
When it comes to factions overall, I really, really, really like Bretonnia. But in Warhammer 2, I have played 3 of the 4 factions, and I would say Skaven probably the ones I've given the most time to. But the next one I'm going to be playing the most is probably going to be Lizardman, because they just look so cool. That Aztec feel, with dinosaurs and Lizardman, that is just awesome for me. So I'm going to be playing a lot of those. And they're the ones I play in free-for-all against people in the office. Which, by the way, I have yet to lose an in-house free-for-all battle. Beating the designers.
We're just going to have to take your bloody word for
all
that.
These guys. Oh, trust me, I never lie when it talks about my accomplishments in gaming.
Yeah. There's a little bit of dick measuring contest going on. Can you use some kind of tunnel with the Skaven to go from one continent to the other, or do you have to sail with a boat?
I believe you will have to sail on a boat, but
that would be a pretty damn long tunnel.
It will be, yeah. I mean, you can take it all the way to China if you want, but it'll take a while.
Can we please have book characters as agents such as Gotrek and Felix? Yeah, we got kind of done that because we have the Bone Ripper. Like, no confirmation of that, but possible, right? In the future.
Mean, we're always looking into things that we can add post-release, and nothing saying who and what, but, these are things we're all looking at.
Yeah.
Will there be some sort of esports thing coming in for Total Warhammer in the far future? I mean, my background's esports, and I think it's very interesting. Like, we have a very hardcore community when it comes to the multiplayer thing, and it's something we would love to be able to do, but in most cases it's something that's community supported and built up from there. It's still a game. You have to balance quite finely to get to that level. I think it's still a fun competitive game, but esports is something everyone would love to do it, but everything has to be right to even get to that point.
Let's be honest, a lot of companies try and force esports and just falls flat on its face.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's very evident in the past.
Yeah, let it build organically and see if there's any interest in it rather than just shoving it down people's throats is probably a good idea.
Most definitely, and that's kind of the approach. Like, Total, it predominantly is a single-player game. And that's the core of our game, is the single player, the campaign, the battles.
Yep.
I mean, multiplayer is something, we'd love to expand on, and free-for-all is the big step in that, and I think it will be cool to see people getting involved in that, giving it a try, and see what happens.
Yeah, co-op campaign is still in Total War 2, yeah?
Co-op campaign, head-to-head campaign. If you play co-op campaign, you can play as the same faction, 2 separate lords,
yep.
2 legendary lords, and with certain locations and so on. We also have this thing which is climate. So if you conquer an area which is not really suitable for your faction, you will get penalties for that. And if you're
But you can have it anyway, right? Yeah. That was the big... I had a big problem with that in Total War Warhammer 1, because like, oh, so you're telling me I can't somehow build here because, I don't know, they don't like the smell or whatever. It's like, come on.
The region occupation. And one of the things we did do on launch is we did work with the modders, and they put out a mod that basically so you can conquer everywhere. So that was at launch, but obviously that was a mod. So that was done because it kind of like cleaned up how the campaign played. But on this, you can conquer everywhere. It's just you will take minuses and kind of like your buildings take longer, your recruitment take longer, replenishment, maybe public order.
Yeah.
It's not completely unmanageable. You can conquer these territories.
And some of them would be strategically useful positions to have, and you're willing to take the hit to have it.
Yeah. So you will be able to do it. It's just it will suffer, and that's going to roll into the mega campaign as well. Right. So if you're playing the mega campaign, that'll work everywhere.
Here's a question, and actually I'm curious about this as well. Then I'll expand on this question. Theki asks, "Are you going to stop making DLC for Warhammer 1 and focus only on Warhammer 2?" I'd expand that by saying, like, in which way are things compatible? Because it seems like you have backwards compatibility with Warhammer 1 content, but Warhammer 2 content can't be used in Warhammer 1, right? So that's kind of how that works.
Yeah, so obviously I can't say if we're going to be doing any other content for Warhammer 1, but obviously main focus, especially when it comes to the like DLC and stuff, will be on Warhammer 2. How that affected the mega campaign and so forth, have to wait and see. But, you know, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Will this game be added to the old world? But I think you can... That's how you play. If you play the mega campaign, they can go there, right?
Yeah. They'll be able to go over there and cause hell. I
know that we know about the transatlantic tunnel between Lustria and stuff that isn't in the game, as far as we know. So, because that would be quite overpowered.
As far as I know.
As far as you know.
But
we might discover that might even be the case.
But we're mainly focusing on Warhammer 2 at the moment, on the Vortex campaign and everything like that. And then, you know, we'll talk a lot more about the mega campaign when it's closer to launch.
Yeah. Will Warlord progression be similar to Warhammer 1, or will it be further expanded?
Warlord is Heroes and Lords. Yeah, with the trait system, you know.
Yeah, we noticed that last night when we played it. So I can actually answer this question for once. So the trait system is a bit different. As you're well aware through a lot of Total War games, you can get traits, positive or negative, on Lords. The way that you get them this time, and they can progress and get better or worse dependent on a specific set condition. So some traits have a bar, like of a few pips. The biggest one we saw had 5 sections, and some of them were positive, some of them were negative, and you slid between them based on a certain condition. So for one of them, it was just sort of based on battles. If you lost a bunch of battles, he got more and more scared of battles. So you could actually get a Lord to the point where he might be useless, but it goes the other way too. There was a nice one that we got, which was about suppressing problems with public order, and the way you leveled that trait up, he got it, which is like +1 to public order. Then it's like, spend more time in a place that has low public order, and then you get another pip, which takes it to level 2, then another pip that takes it to level 3. And they all sort of make logical sense as to why they would progress.
Yeah, so it gives you a bit more time to kind of like roleplay with your lords and your legendary lords. Obviously, legendary lords are going to be your go-to in most cases. Yeah. But then you can sort of build up these secondary and sort of use them in where you need to in the campaign. And I mean, a lot of people like to be able to go and roleplay their stuff. I mean, Rome 1 was a great example of that. You're getting a lot of these traits, and people will get very attached to these guys that would live to like 101 years old. And when you die, you're very attached, and then all of a sudden you find his grandson isn't quite as good.
So grandson's a bit dense, or you know, has a knobbly leg.
So you just send them off into battle to die, basically, which is what most people would do.
Yep.
Stacks of lords, basically.
Are there any changes to the Winds of Magic system that you're aware of?
No, where we are obviously adding in a lot more spells with Warhammer 2 for all of the 4 factions. But I don't think there's any like big mechanical changes exactly to the Winds of Magic.
People are asking about the settlements and whether or not the building chains will be more complex, and whether there'll be more variety instead of having kind of copy-paste a lot of the same sort of settlements. So it comes to specialization, I guess.
Within Warhammer 1, I wouldn't be able to answer that. But on Warhammer 2, I mean, they're all unique to the factions.
It depends on the faction.
Yeah, so I think that's more of a faction question.
Yeah. Do lords still level up the same outside of trade work? Yeah. Like they'll gain levels like they do, and then you put a point in the skill tree.
I believe they're capped a little higher now, so you can get, I think it's
more?
40 in there.
Oh, right, okay.
Goal Grand Campaign, both maps connected. Yeah, so if you have Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2, you'll play the Mega Campaign when it comes out, and you'll be able to play Old World Faction, New World Factions, and conquer the combined map, basically, the gigantic map of Total War Warhammer, the Old World and New World.
Yeah, someone asked about advanced movement stances. One thing I noticed when we were doing campaign last night is that Skaven in particular have a stalk movement stance.
Yes, indeed. So they're able to move and ambush at the same time. So you'll be able to move them across the map and go for that. Everyone's got stances. And
yeah, there was some really weird stuff. Like we saw, like astromancy was a stance for the lizard men.
So that's their
what
ability.
That was all about.
Well, because you were stalking and you were invisible. That's their way of spotting ambushes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So you'd already ambushed his army, for God's sake.
Yeah, we kind of murdered
didn't
him.
want to happen again. So you'll be able to see that for a lot of the factions. All got unique stances. Also, they use the underway as well, so they can get under mountains and stuff like that. So nowhere's really safe from the Skaven in that regard.
Yeah. They're pretty nasty. There's some very interesting stuff about the way that corruption works in the Skaven campaign.
Yes, indeed. So if you stay in one place too long, your corruption hurts enemies and it hurts yourself.
Yes.
So you want to spread across that map like the Skaven
like a disease
virus across the map. And you do not want to be in one place too long because you go through food all the time. So food is a constant thing. You get that from fighting and from some like settlement buildings, but not many. So you're going to be predominantly fighting to get that food, killing and eating your enemies. So you're going to want to spread as quick as possible and fight as much as possible. You're doing well in your campaign because you just fought everyone straight away.
Yeah, well, a lot of it had to be like, the more I kill, the more food I get, because I took like 2 settlements. There's another interesting thing I noticed. So as the Skaven, where you know the idea of when you took a settlement and it's crap and it's like, oh, I've got to go through leveling this up. You can spend more food to instantly level a new settlement up to like level 3.
Yeah, but there's a
huge cost associated with that.
Yeah, you lose that food, you hit starvation, so you need to be fighting all the time. I think that's why your campaign's off to a great start, because you're just killing people straight off the bat.
I beat up a bunch of high elves and I beat up a bunch of lizard men.
Yeah,
and I'm probably going to go beat up the other Skaven faction.
And I play kind of like a traditional Total player, which is the incorrect way to play some of these factions because they play so unique, and then I'm more like slowly capturing one after a time instead of just beating everyone up in my territory.
Oh yeah, you got to be pretty aggressive with it. Maybe not piss off too many people, because Skaven, especially at the start, they got a lot of units, but they're weak as hell.
Yeah, especially early on.
Yeah, it's like, don't lose the legendary lord units that you got, like the rat ogres, because you can't get them till later. Definitely don't lose the damn warp fire thrower, because you're not going to get that for a while.
And don't lose like Cleek Headhunter. He's so powerful, and he's been the turning points in so many of the battles.
You're going to see that in the campaign gameplay I give you on YouTube. There was a really epic battle involving Queek, who really turned it around by himself, basically, by doing a really sneaky thing. Yeah, so food is a resource for the Skaven. It's a unique resource for the Skaven. And it's on a bar, so the more food you've got, the better things are. If your rats are starving, the penalties empire-wide are severe.
And
really nasty. Yep. So, and they're not much. They don't really farm very much. They get food from fighting. So, is Warpstone an important currency? Yeah. So, tell us about the Warpstone mechanics.
So, Warpstone is your ritual currency, which is how you take part in the Vortex campaign. So every faction will have its kind of unique Vortex currency, and Warpstone, obviously playing into lore, is Skaven, so they'll be given quests and tasks to complete to get that Warpstone. When you get enough of it, you'll be given an opportunity to do a ritual. When you're doing the ritual, this will start influencing the Vortex. You'll see it's kind
of like a beam.
A beam that comes from your capital. And while this is happening, you're destabilizing that vortex, and chaos is seeping into the world. So in the early game, you'll have like a chaos stacks will start coming after your capital. So within those 10 turns, bad stuff's happening, and you have to make a decision if you want to keep expanding normally, or you want to start doing those rituals. Because as soon as those rituals start, you're going to have to defend your settlements against chaos invasions. And other factions are also able to pay money to interfere with this, and you can do the same to stop. You have to declare war on them to do it, but you will be able to pay a certain amount of cash to pay for an AI army to spawn and attack where they're doing the ritual from.
We saw that happen, and that did not go well for the AI army.
No, it didn't. But I wanted to see what happened, so I put down about I think it was 5,000 to see how big the army was. It just got crushed by the High Elves, but it was inside their home territory, so I'm not too surprised. But fighting chaos with Skaven is quite challenging, as you would expect.
Fighting a lot of things with Skaven early on, I've experienced is quite challenging, as you'll see. We did well here because that was a very high tier Skaven army in the Rod of Corruption quest battle. The stuff you start with, not that good. Nowhere near that good. Clan rats die by the thousands.
But they replenish immediately on the campaign map.
They're very quick to
so
come back.
It doesn't matter. Just throw them away, build more.
Yep. Put them in combat, then kill all of your own stuff with a warp fire thrower. That's the best way to do it.
It worked well.
Yeah, pretty much. He's asking if other Skaven clans are playable. Like, if there are factions that have slightly different, like, starting bonuses and stuff.
Well, we got 2 Legendary Lords, and they, Cleek is one of them. One of Pestilence is the other. I can't remember off the top of my head the name, so bear with me on that. I guess wait and see.
Yep. I mean, if it's anything like Warhammer 1, they'll probably do sub-factions that have different starting conditions and that are just a lot harder or maybe easier in some way, so
people
keep an eye out for that.
Love new starting positions because obviously it sets a whole array of challenges being in a different area.
Totally.
So, wait and see.
Yep. That's good. Let's see if there's any last little question other than snorting warpstone.
I don't think that would go well for anyone.
I'm not sure if that's an ability that's a thing that's real. Oh god, it's an interesting question just from the sake of this would be neat but completely impractical. Thinking about VR support for a Total War game.
We did something, I can't remember where though, where we kind of like did a bit of VR so we could be on a map with some of the monsters from the game. But I don't think we've got any plans for VR, but if we do...
It would be kind of neat to be in the middle of a battle like that, I will say that.
It would be very scary to have Malekith walking around.
Yeah, or just walk right up to one of those Hell Pit abominations like,
God,
nope,
nope,
that wasn't it.
I wanted to sleep well.
Bad idea.
That's a nightmare for my birthday.
So someone's asked about load times. Bear in mind, this is a preview build, and also, we actually ran this off an external SSD, a USB 3, which is not that fast compared to what an internal SSD would be, or, a NVMe, or something like an M2. Load times on that, I mean, they've been okay. It's not been a problem, but again, the build's a month and a half out from release, so optimization tends to happen closer to release, right?
Yes, this is obviously a preview build, so this is nothing quite like.
And there's not as much content in this,
We put this down for events and for press.
Because you can see here, like this build has the Skaven campaign with Quake as the playable campaign, and that alone.
Yeah, so, I mean, these things are separated from the main game. Built, for PR and marketing purposes. Yeah. And the main game, obviously, we play. I go on my laptop. I can load it up pretty quickly in battle, and that's I think it's got a good graphics card.
I've seen you play the other build on that laptop, and it seems to run all right.
Yeah, so nothing problems on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, wait and see on launch. But
yeah, personnel say frame rate on it. We ran into a couple of problems because there was a clash between VSync and G-Sync. That I guess will probably be fixed before launch. You still have the DirectX 12 in beta option. Some people that runs better. Some people it doesn't. Depends on your card. And the entire time while we've been streaming, the frame rate has been above 60. Obviously, we've been streaming in 30, because if we went to 60, it would have been even worse blurry-wise, because there's too much on the screen for a stream to handle. But we kept it above 60 the whole time, which is good. But I'm always going to be in favor of optimize it more, make it better, always. It's never going to be good enough for me. Like, there's only one game I think that's good enough for me, and that's Doom running on Vulkan.
It's like the first thing you showed me when I came into your house. It's like, come have a look at how good Doom is on my PC.
Yeah, come and look at Doom running at a constant 200 frames per second with solid 5 millisecond frame pacing on 1440p Ultra at 200 FPS. I'm like, that's what Vulkan is. I'm like, could you put Vulkan in your game, please? Because holy crap, that seems to be really cool. So yeah, your mileage is going to vary. You know that, like, that's just kind of how it works. It's run fine on my PC, but mine's a $10,000 PC, and you probably shouldn't compare to that. That's kind of silly.
I mean, we test it on as many PCs. It's a PC-only title, Yeah. This is something we work on quite heavily. We've got a big QA team work on this quite a lot. I mean, I play like on my PC at home and at work and laptop. I alt tab like ridiculous, like, and I'm usually doing something in the background as well. So I haven't come across any issues, but I'm 100% sure no one's gonna listen to my opinion. But on that,
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it buys the sell.
get it yourself.
You know, I can say from seeing like him running it on his laptop that he brought here, it did seem to run pretty well, and it's run all right on this machine.
And as always, if you guys decide to go and get the game, you ever have any problems, like, let us know immediately. Forums, like, we're set up to deal with these things as soon as we can.
Yep.
But we don't think that will happen. But if
we hope not.
We're always here to be able to help.
We hope not. One last question. Oh, actually, two last questions before we leave, and we're going to wrap up. Can you explain rogue armies on the campaign more? How exactly do they work?
Yeah, so you'll see them coming up in your campaign. We haven't counted any, but we are starting.
Actually, we have.
On.
We encountered the pirates, right?
I did indeed, the pirates. So that was like a kind of rebel faction that sprung up because of disorder in the area.
Real quick, it was on like turn 8.
Yeah, so that's a lot of Empire mix of troops. So some of the rogue armies that will come across are going to be like a mixture of a load of the old world factions as well. So like kind of mixed together.
Right.
So you can see like orcs, beastmen, Empire kind of troops, Bretonnians.
In the same armies?
In some cases in the same armies.
That's going to be bonkers. Okay.
And it's going to throw your kind of composition up in the air as well.
Right.
So you're used to fighting lizardmen. You built your army kind of to deal with lizardmen.
To deal with
all
them.
All of a sudden, you know, greenskins or whoever, and then all of a sudden it's going to be painful, you know?
So it's like, oh god, it's a greenskin army with a steam tank. We're screwed. It's a looted steam tank! If they painted it red to go faster, because that's how it works.
That's literally how everything works.
More DACA.
Yeah.
More DACA. Last question. Linux support.
Linux support, I am not sure about that, so I can't help you there.
Don't know that. So, I guess ask on their forum. It's probably a better idea. Like, we don't talk really about Linux much on our channel because I never run it. Simple as that.
Trying to work out if we did it for Warhammer 1.
Yeah, I did Warhammer 1 of it. I never pay attention to it, that, honestly.
Yeah, I can't help you on that one, unfortunately.
Nah, sorry. You have to look that one up and maybe ask on their forum. It'll probably be better than that. I think we're about done, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up. Yeah, hopefully you lot have enjoyed it. We got to see both battles. We lost one of them, which is nice, so it demonstrated the AI isn't completely idiotic. Bear in mind that the difficulty setting for this preview build is probably set pretty low. So that's something to bear in mind. And the campaign gameplay, you'll get to see some interesting stuff. We got some very interesting close battles there so far. And we're going to record some more. Actually, we're going to go off, have a sandwich, and record maybe 2 more hours of this. And we'll have about 4 hours of footage that I'm going to edit down into a video for you, so you can see some different battles. You will experience how fucking stubborn the lizard men are. Yeah,
especially when you've got, like, just clan rants as your army.
Yeah,
it's... The skinks, man.
I was so... Oh, skinks are bastards! It gave me flashbacks to Blood Bowl, where Krendor's skinks were just running past us all the time. There's a lot of skirmisher units that have always been in the Total War games, and I like skirmisher units. They're really cool. These are some of the nastiest, most deadly skirmish units. The AI actively used them to draw my units away from the main fight. And they did it because my units are idiots. Like, you have to really stay on top of units to stop them chasing after those skirmisher skinks. Are so fast, they throw poison javelins at you. They're little dicks, is what they are. They're little dicks. So do watch out for that. Because then the Saurus and the Blessed Saurus and the Temple Guard in the front line saying, oh, I've just gone frenzied. I'm never going to leave.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep eating your rat, man.
Oh, they did. They killed like 1,000 of them. Oh, my God.
It was messy.
It was kind of messy.
It
was kind of messy.
That was great fun.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It's a good battle. We'll hopefully have a few more.
I was just like, don't die. Like, I'm just like, obviously, you know, when we get code like this and we get people playing it, you kind of always want people to have a kind of really epic, like, early game. And you can never guarantee what will happen because it's all down to how you play. If you play too traditional, like I was saying before, sometimes you play quite a boring campaign because you're not taking the risks, you're not playing how the faction does.
I take a lot of stupid risks in my games.
You became like you were playing like a Skaven. You backstabbing people, you were hunting for food straight off the bat, you were just throwing away your men.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like why I'll probably play them in campaign because it suits me. Anyone that watches me play XCOM 2 is just hiding behind the sofa because I take stupid, unnecessary risks all the time. And it turns out Skaven actually reward you for that. So that might be my faction.
And then later on, you start getting those big artillery, you know. Big,
oh, hell yeah.
Oh, it gets interesting.
Use
Horde
the plague!
Horde faction with that kind of steampunk, crazy artillery and monsters.
It's such a really cool combo. Love it. So, lots of Skaven slaves. Like, let's send 2,000 Skaven slaves at them. Then bombard them with... You know, it's a very Game of Thrones thing, you know? Just blow up... Well, I guess, well, not spoil that. Things. Things die. Spoiler, people die.
It's Braveheart, like when
it's like,
start
sir,
firing the archers into the man.
But, sir, won't we hit our own troops? Yes, but we'll hit theirs as well. It's very much that.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Warp lightning cannons. Someone said in chat. Yes.
Yeah,
they are brilliant.
We saw them fire and they were brutal.
Indeed, I love it.
They also killed a lot of their own troops. When's the YouTube video coming out? Near the release of the game? No, much sooner than that. So, when the game's close to release, we'll have a full WTF well, I've put a lot of time in. What we have here is we've filmed campaign gameplay off the Skaven campaign build, and currently we have about an hour and a half film. We're going to film 2 more just after we end this stream, and then we've got like 3.5 to 4 hours of gameplay that I'm going to edit down to like a 45-minute or so video. So I'll show you some of the really cool fights, some of the campaign mechanics, exploration, and that will be solo commentary from me. So, simply, that will be my honest opinions when this guy ain't in the room. That's how it is. Yep.
Tell me how you see it.
Absolutely. You know, feedback's always a good thing. You know, when it's delivered constructively. Sometimes it's useless. All right, folks. I think we've reached the end of this. I'd like to, again, thank 45 minutes, so a pretty short TB video. Yeah, all right. We get the idea. Thanks a lot for watching. We had over 10,000 concurrents at one point, which is great. It's good that you guys want to see this. And, again, a reminder, we lifted the Sega boycott a few years ago. Can't win them all. And that just means you're going to get to see Total War content. You're going to get to see content from Relic. You're going to get to see content from Sega and whatever else they publish. Atlas, of course. They publish a lot of stuff these days.
A lot of strategy titles at the moment. I mean,
yeah, which is kind of
Amplitude, Relic. Obviously, I do Football Manager as well.
Yeah. So, well, yes, Football Manager. That.
Oh yeah.
I'm changing my channel to Football Manager channel, folks. How can be?
Hey, get the tune.
The tune. It's like, yeah, I'm known for liking football. No, I'm not. The only reason I say I support Newcastle when I'm in the tune is because I get glassed if I didn't. But.
I came in here, it's surrounded by Newcastle memorabilia everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing,
all over the place. It's black and white.
Yeah, 3 lions on the shirt. Wait, nope, that's a different thing entirely.
That's a horrible
Chumbawamba! That wasn't Chumbawamba that did that.
No, it was David and Badil.
I am very glad that football's coming home is no longer a thing that we get to hear. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think we're going into madness.
Madness? This is Skaven. Ratman. Absurd. Alright. We're wrapped up, folks. Thank you very much for watching. If you missed any of the stream, if you are a subscriber to our Twitch channel, it's available instantly. If you're not, don't worry. I give permission to channels to upload my VODs as long as I don't monetize them. There's an unofficial stream channel that's like collects all my streams. Usually takes about a day or two to come up. So you'll be able to see it there. If you want to watch something else, the podcast with Lyric, that was a really good show, just went up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/cynicalbrit. That was our biggest live stream of all time. 28,000 concurrent viewers. And 176,000 unique viewers. On a stream! That's ridiculous. Lyric brings them in, folks. It was a good show. Very chill guy. Those of you who've maybe tuned into his stream, he's been ranting at PUBG. No, super chill guy, really nice guy, very knowledgeable. We really enjoyed our time with him. He was a great guest. So youtube.com/cynicalbrit for the co-optional podcast. And I think the iTunes version's probably up right now. Just bear in mind it's a video podcast, so you benefit most from watching it on YouTube. All right. That's cool. Dogbert, cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for co-commentating and giving everybody the information that I couldn't have provided. Very much appreciated.
It's been amazing. I'm just happy we won all those battles, and I hope everyone enjoyed them.
Yeah, I'm not quite as crap at Total War as people think. I'm alright, I guess. I remember I played it informally at last year's PAX, and I got... Oh, it was at PAX before for the original Total War. Warhammer, and I got my arse handed to me. It was just brutal.
Yeah, I heard Andy Hall.
Andy, yeah.
Long and hard about Warhammer.
Yeah.
Well, we expect.
We mostly just talked about Warhammer lore, because that's kind of how it goes.
It's kind of his bag.
Yeah, still a bit more than 40k than I am fantasy, but I can be convinced to play a bit of fantasy every now and again. Yeah, Necromunda's coming back.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they just confirmed today, and they released the logo and everything. New Necromunda, and I think at Forge World Day, they're showing the new miniatures.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a Necromunda video game, man. It's so logical.
I'm surprised there hasn't been one. I
Yeah.
mean, it fits up so well. I mean,
There's been a Mordheim one that was pretty good.
yeah, I remember having the board game of that, like ages and ages.
Mordheim's so good, yeah.
Yeah.
I like skirmish level games. Like,
Yeah, like even more so than like 40k, which
Kinda,
is
yeah.
heavy skirmish anyway.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, my one was Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah.
Like my house is just covered in Battlefleet Gothic models.
Yeah, I gotta say, I loved the video game for that. That was a really, really good game. I think got a lot of people into what otherwise they didn't really know a lot about, which is the fleet actions of 40k.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's been a Necromunda board game announced, but we have no details yet. So, I guess I'm gonna have to go and track down the people responsible. I can't. I mean, I think it might have been the Mordheim guys. Mordheim was pretty good in some ways. They definitely need to change a few things though. Yeah, it is by the Mordheim devs. Great, that's ideal. Let me just give you a piece of advice. If you see Mordheim on iOS, don't fall for it. It's terrible. Please don't. Play games on PC where they should be played. We're done. Thank you very much, folks. Big thanks to Creative Assembly for letting us show you this, and for Dogbert for literally bringing the game on a plane so that we could look at it in the studio.
Not a problem. I'm over my fear of flying now.
Yeah, pretty much. Considering how much you've been flying, I don't really blame you, because you're after Gamescom, like, straight after this, right?
Yeah,
Jesus
we're going to have
Christ.
a booth there, so we'll be showing off the games.
Oh
So if
my
anyone's at
God.
Gamescom,
Yeah.
come by and say hi.
Yeah, by all means, ask for the dog, but ask for the guy who's lost his Newcastle accent. Yeah.
I'll bring it back just for Gamescom. They won't
Yeah,
understand a
man.
word I'm saying.
We are, man. Yeah, just go to do what. Every time we go back to Newcastle, there's that one thing. We don't have our accent until we get in a taxi.
It's always the taxi.
Taxi! Always the bloody
when you're
taxi!
ordering at Greg's.
Oh, yeah, true. Steak bake, please, love. That wasn't even that. I think I was Landon. I do a better London accent than I do a Geordie accent. It's embarrassing.
Can't look at you right now.
I know. I'm disgusting. All right. Thank you very much, folks, for watching. Much appreciated. And I'll try and stay out of the drama on Twitter today if you promise to do the same thing. I did promise you 2 dog videos today. You gotta get them. Very cool. Go watch Co-optional. It was a fun show. No drama. Lots of laughs. We'll see you next time.